All right, folks. I know we have been informing about this AWS automation since very long. I mean, from past 5 days to 6 days, we have been insisting that what are we going to start? Like, all we have put down all different kinds of architecture to be explained. Uh, Today, since I believe few folks joined from batch 18 or before that batch 10 or something. Batch 10 has very less crowd, but however, whatever the trainings we had from past 4 years or 5 years, obviously the big data has grown since everything has become a cloud centric, right? So we are pretty working on in such a way that obviously we have to move more towards the job, I mean, kind of the industry standards. In that particular topics, I've come across AWS automation. I believe we already saw GCP automation 6 months ago. How many of you also joined the GCP automation session 6 months ago, not recent time, 6 months ago? Anyone remember that? GCP automation. Anyone joined from old batches? No one. Okay, 3 months ago, Azure and GCP. Exactly on December 29th something. No one. So everyone is attending today.
Me, Sai.
I have attended Sai.
You have
We
attended.
joined 3 months back.
Like, yeah, the same what we saw in GCP, we are going to see it in AWS. But in a quite a different way, in a quite a deeper way, we are going to see it, right? So we'll have a respective break also in between. But this session may not go more than a couple of hours. I'm expecting to complete a bit early this time because few of the folks already know the automation on different different cloud environments. The same thing we are going to do it in AWS. But old batch folks, you remember, we also saw AWS automation using command runner. You remember that? Old batch folks using command runner.
Yes, Sai.
Command runner. But yes, it's not only is possible, it is possible with command runner. It is also possible with a different kind of event-based automation. All right. Before that, let me just taking care of one backup. Just give me one. I'll share the screen. Folks, all of you put joined in all the batch groups, old batch groups. All of you put joined in the old batch groups, please. Please. Yeah, that's it. Get ready, folks. I'm just sharing it. Yeah. So in this particular whole week, I have been putting one particular image on the AWS automation. Have you seen that? Did all of you align with that image? I was actually showing one
Yes.
image.
Yes, sir.
Right. That's what we are going to execute today.
Yes,
Nothing else. Right. That's what we are going to execute today with all possible ways. Whatever you see here, we are going to do the same. No change in the architecture. But few folks are already working in AWS today. Few folks are, old batch folks I'm talking about. Few folks are not in AWS, maybe different cloud. Few folks are completely beginner. Let's talk about batch 39. You're completely beginner. You have not been in this AWS automation. You may be aware of AWS cloud as a separate entity, EMR as a separate entity, and S3 as a separate entity, maybe Web API as a separate entity. So, but all together, we are going to handle every single architecture of it along with a complete automation. One particular word I have been insisting again and again, automation. Right? What is actually an automation mean? Maybe who are already working in particular big data, who's already entered into big data, the old batch folks, you might be aware of in in current projects, which are the projects you're working on, without any manual intervention, the cluster gets started, the jobs get started, the job gets ended, and everything gets ended without any manual intervention. Agreed? All batch folks I'm talking about. Correct?
Yeah, right.
You understand? So similarly, how we can automate the entire cloud data pipeline. This is a data pipeline. Whatever you see here is a data pipeline, right? So from the source till the destination, we have a particular data pipeline, right? So we'll discuss on it, like how we have been going step by step. But definitely, you know, we are going to have a boss conversation today. Why I'm talking about one boss conversation, why I pick a boss, see, any kind of a scenarios in the previous real-time scenarios also, we have spoke more towards a boss conversation because you need to understand how the requirement comes in the market. In case of I'm working in a project, who gives what? That we are going to check today. But however, please be very cautious. In this entire execution today, there is a many chances for you to miss the flow because we are going to see many things. I try my level best to make the session intact, all right? From the source to the destination, everything I'll make it intact. But the only request I have is be kindly focus to the maximum to the session. That's the only request I have. Hardly take a couple of hours to complete this session. In between, we'll have one short break. That makes sense more, all of you? Yes, all of you. Batch
Yes,
39 folks, do not panic. I'll go from very basics. I know like we have not started AWS sessions completely, but I'm directly jumping into AWS automation, right? That's okay. See, unless until it is not possible or it is not understandable, I'll not jump into the topic. It is definitely possible for you to understand, but more than any session, you have to focus double or triple times today, right? All batch folks, the cloud sessions are getting started from today. If you want to attend, you can attend. This week and next week, we are planning AWS. The further weeks, Azure and GCP. You can attend. That's not fine. That's fine. This is the meeting details. Okay, folks, if you want to utilize, you can utilize it. Not a problem. Yeah. Because for every batch, we are enhancing all the cloud part. Slowly, we are enhancing the cloud part. So that's the reason. Fine. Shall we get started? All of you today? Ready?
yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yep.
That's it. Double your concentration. If possible, triple your concentration. I'll go damn slow. Very slow I'll go. Now have a check. One fine day. Okay, let's start a very boss easy conversation. Right? Look at let's start at the end. Let's start at the end. What we are going to build this whole, what kind of a data pipeline we are going to build today. What kind of a data pipeline we are going to build today. All right, from end to end. One fine day, I got a mail from my boss saying that, Sai, we have some work to do. Right? All of you, please put as join in the respective batch groups, please. Please put as join in the respective batch groups, please. Yeah. So, Sai, we have some work to do. That's the requirement. Then what happened? He started explaining the things. We have to develop a complete data pipeline. What he's asking us to do? Tell me, he's asking us to do develop
Complete.
what? Entire data pipeline. What is known as data pipeline? Old batch folks who already know what is a data pipeline. What is data pipeline? Go ahead. Who knows the answer? Nobody knows what is data pipeline.
From source to destination.
That's it. From source to
The
destination.
flow of the data.
Journey from source to destination. Yes.
From source till the destination, right? Folks, this particular 10 minutes is really important. We are going to completely talk about the requirement first. Because you need to understand what we are going to achieve next. What we are going to achieve now. So first, let's understand the endpoint, right? Let's understand what we are going to achieve. Now, my boss started saying that we have work to do. We have to develop a complete data pipeline. What is data pipeline? From source to destination. Done. Now, Then he started explaining it better. In this data pipeline, we have 3 sources. How many sources he's mentioning now?
3.
3 sources. In this data pipeline, we have totally 3 sources. He started listing the sources. Number 1, the source is Snowflake. That's the first source we have. Second source we have S3, AWS S3. The third source we have Web API. That Web API which all the batches already aware of, what we frequently use, that random user, right? So he slowly started explaining the entire data pipeline. Folks, this is not a small use case. Try to understand, this is not a very small use case. Hey, do this and do that. He's talking about the entire data pipeline. What is a data pipeline is? In other words, right? Check out here. I have a source and I'll have a destination, right? I'll definitely have a source from it and I'll definitely have a destination. The entire data pipeline works in AWS cloud. Now he added one point, right? The entire data pipeline work on AWS cloud environment. So whether you have a data that would be in AWS cloud, whether you are processing the data that is in AWS cloud, whether you're going to write the data that is going to be AWS. So the entire data pipeline was developed in AWS actually, cloud environment, right? Folks, completely focus on the screen. Every point or every word is extremely important. It will help you to connect multiple dots. So please concentrate. He added a point. We have to develop an entire data pipeline. What is data pipeline? From the source till the destination, whatever we do. The next point comes in. In this data pipeline, we have totally 3 sources. Snowflake, S3, Web API. All of you are clear? All the batches are clear so far? So far?
Yes, sir.
Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Done. Done.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now he started explaining more. He started saying, we have totally 3 sources side. Snowflake, S3 and Web API. Let me take the logos, okay? Right? Snowflake logo. Let's take Snowflake logo. Right? Everyone knows Snowflake. Everyone is working on Snowflake now. I mean, old batch folks, anyone got a chance to work on Snowflake?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Snowflake comes under data warehouse, right? So cloud data warehouse. Snowflake is your first source. S3 is your second source, right? S3 is your second source. Third source is Web API. Web API is nothing but an API data, right? That we get from a REST template data sets, right? Totally 3 sources, he said. Look at the source to destination. Let's build the entire data pipeline. So he started explaining, all right, Snowflake, S3, and Web API. There are 3 sources for us side. That's fine. Next, right? We have to trigger a Spark job. We have to trigger one Spark job. Which job he's asking, folks? Tell me. We have to start with one Spark job. Right? Trigger a Spark jobs. Maybe we can see jobs. Right? Concept here, folks. Let's put it this way. We have to trigger 3 Spark jobs. How many Spark jobs he's saying?
3
All of you.
Spark jobs.
3 Spark jobs. Concentrate on the requirement first. Folks, let's start the endpoint. Let's start at the end. Let's understand the endpoint. What is saying? 3 sources I have, Sai. You have to totally trigger 3 Spark jobs. You have to totally trigger 3 Spark jobs. Focus, focus, focus. All right. 3 Spark you have to execute. Right? Check here. It's not just 1, 2. It's going to be totally 3 Spark jobs, not just 1. You have to execute 3 Spark jobs. All right. Look at the requirement. Totally 3 Spark jobs you have to execute to process, to extract 3 sources. Look at the requirement, folks. 3 sources. How many Spark jobs he explained? Tell me. 3 Spark jobs. 3 sources, 3 Spark jobs. All right. Now check what he's saying. Look at it, folks. Now, 1 minute. 1 minute, please. Yeah. Now, he slowly started building the requirement. Once the first Spark job should extract the data from Snowflake, right? And find the total number of site count and write it to AWS S3 bucket so that GMP team will consume it. What is saying? Folks, all of you, then he started explaining the requirement. Let's start from the beginning. He added, Sai, we have to develop what? Complete data pipeline. We have to develop the complete data pipeline. From the source till the destination, we have to develop. In this data pipeline, we have 3 sources, Snowflake, S3, and Web API. The entire pipeline work on AWS cloud environment. We have to trigger 3 Spark jobs to extract from 3 sources. Then he started explaining about the first Spark job. He started, first Spark job should extract the data from Snowflake and find the total number of site count and write to AWS S3 bucket so that which team will consume it? GMP team will consume it. Do we know who is GMP team? Tell me. We don't know. We don't know. For example, that's just a random game I give. In real time, they'll give some names to a teams. In real time, they give some names to the teams. My team name is P2 team. There is another team, we have UB team. Other place, we have D team. Like that, we have a different teams. You need not worry about what is this GMP teams. But ultimately, what he's asking, Sai, consume the data from what? Consume the data from Snowflake and write the data to where again? Where he's asking us to write the data. Tell me. To where he's writing the data. Where is trying to write the data?
S3 bucket.
You have to write the data to S3 bucket. Right? So that some other team will consume, it seems. I'm not sure who is it. See, I need not to know about who is it, first of all. Right? I need not to worry about who is it. That's not my job. All right. Now, what he added, some other team will consume it. That's something, leave it. That's nowhere I need to bother about. That's okay. In this entire data pipeline, I have to start from source to destination. 3 sources I have, 3 Spark jobs I have to trigger. I have to write the data to the S3 bucket. Some GMP team will consume. That's the first Spark job. The second Spark job, right? Second Spark job should extract the data from S3 and find the sum of total amount collected per username, right? Yeah, if this is everything happens per username. Find Spark job, extract data from Snowflake, and find the site count per username, right? Per username. Everything happens per username. Second Spark job says, see the common column. Second Spark job says, should extract the data from S3 and find the sum of amount collected per username. Everything we are processing with respect to what? Which column? Tell me.
Username.
Username. And write to AWS S3 bucket, right? So that UP team will consume it. It's a completely new team. Are you with me? All of you so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Third one. Third, see, if to put the diagram, now again, what is saying? We have to consume the data from AWS S3, and again, we have to write that to
Yes, sir.
S3 bucket, right? We have to write the data to the S3 bucket. Done. This will be consumed by which team actually? Some UB team. That I'm nowhere, but I'm nowhere aware of. That's okay. Someone needs the data. That's okay. Done. Right? It is done. Maybe let me put it this way. Let me put it. This is consumed by UB team. This is also done. The next one, third Spark job. Third Spark job should extract data from Web API, flatten it completely, right? We have to flatten it completely and write the data, right? Write the data to AWS S3 bucket so that, for example, G plus team will complete, G plus team will consume. What is a third Spark job says? Extract this data from Web API and write this data to again AWS S3. So which team is going to consume this time? Some G plus team. We need not to worry about who is those teams are, right? You need not to worry about which are those teams. They are expecting some data. They're expecting some data. That's the requirement. This is G plus T. All right. Folks, how many sources do I have here? How many sources do I have here?
3 sources.
Totally, I have 3 sources. What are the 3 sources I have?
Snowflake,
Snowflake,
AWS S3 and
AWS S3 and the
Web API.
Web API.
He is asking, Sai, we have to develop the entire data pipeline. In that data pipeline, I have 3 sources, run 3 Spark jobs. First Spark job should consume data from Snowflake and write it to S3 so that GMP team will consume it. We have a dependency. Read the data from S3 and write it to S3 so that we have UB team will consume it. Write the Web API, read the Web API, flatten it completely and write it to S3. G plus team will consume. Done. Done. That's the intermediate story. Now, Sai, it's time for the bigger one. It's time for big one. Right? It's time for bigger one. Now we have to consume all the 3 extracted data. We have to consume all 3 extracted data and run one master Spark job. What we have to do now? Tell me. We have to run one master Spark job. Right? This is the ultimate one. The last one. Last cup of, this is a very last cup of puzzle. Right? Run one master Spark job. Right? Join all the data with respect to username. Join all the data with respect to username and write the data to S3. What is one last thing he mentioned? Right? Using Spark. Again, using Spark. Now what he stated, Sai, once you extract all the data to S3, now it's time to generate what? Run what? One master
Spark job.
One master Spark job. That is a ultimate Spark job. Right? It's an ultimate Spark job. We have to write. That has to consume data from all the sources. Right? We have to. One sec, folks. Pooja, sorry, Pooja. Pooja, leave the meeting. Gomti, remove her. Remove her. That's okay. Remove her. Folks, if anyone is spoilers, just leave the meeting. I don't have time to address such kind of people here. Leave the meeting. I need concentration. The students need a lot of concentration. Leave the meeting first. Now I have to run one master Spark job in which we have to consume all the sources individually, join all the jobs, and write the data to finally what? To S3. Right? Folks understood this data pipeline. What is the final destination they're expecting? Again, tell me.
S3.
S3.
S3. Yeah.
Who are already working as a data engineer in AWS. Is it not looks the same? I mean, any data engineers of AWS here who's already old batch students working on cloud environments? Yeah, almost. We'll have the intermediate data returns. We have other teams in dependencies. That's how we work. This is our source and this is our destination. Look at the traversal. Look at the traversal. This is our source. This is our destination. 2 Spark jobs we have. We have one intermediate data in the S3. This is what he's asking us to develop the entire data pipeline. Complete data pipeline. This is what we are going to talk also. Right? This is what we are going to talk also. Right? Now concentrate here, folks. Concentrate here. He just did not end with that. Right? He didn't end with that. He added one more point. Sai, make sure the entire data pipeline is automated. That's the place where the problem starts. What my boss is asking, make sure the entire data pipeline should be
Automated.
Maybe that word automated may panic all of you, that I understand. Few folks, not everyone, but don't worry, I'll tell you. So understand the data pipeline very well, right? I have 3 sources. Altogether, right? I have totally 3 sources and 1 destination. You can add any number of destinations actually, but here I just showing only 1 source. Sorry, 3 sources and 1 destination. This is the entire data pipeline from source to the destination. What he added, you have to run 3 Spark jobs, which has to extract and write the process data to the different S3 buckets. The next one, after all other teams have some dependencies, let them consume it. And finally, you have to run one master Spark job, which should consume all the 3 intermediate data and do the join and write it to S3. Folks, this you need to understand. This development is not an Eclipse development. It's not like data is sitting in my local Windows. 39 batch. It's not like I can create the data programmatically. Do that make sense? What I mean? 39 batch.
Yes, sir.
This data is completely sitting in the cloud environments, some S3 Snowflake, some REST API data. How can I build this entire pipeline in the AWS environment? But one thing I have not mentioned, what he's very clear on it. We have to automate the entire data pipeline. What is automation? Without manual intervention, whatever I showed as a data pipeline should execute without any manual intervention. I should not do. The pipeline should start, pipeline should run. We are going to see till the automation today. All of you clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now the actual game starts. Kindly stay connected. Batch 39 folks, do not panic. If you do not understand, tomorrow we have to again detail it. Tomorrow I'll execute the same pipeline again to get a more strength on it, to get a more control on it. So don't worry, all right? To get a more control, I'll re-execute the entire data pipeline tomorrow. But just see first iteration today, I'll make as simple as possible, all right? Because since old batch folks already saw the AWS session, and some folks are already working in AWS in real time, they can easily catch things. Since you are a beginner, don't worry. Tomorrow I'll re-execute it again. But only request is, I'll make it as simple as possible, but tomorrow we can use it for recap. Detailed explanation I cannot do tomorrow. right? Just a recap I can give. Today is the actual execution. So please concentrate. Now, imagine Sai is a complete beginner. Imagine Sai is a complete beginner, right? Now, boss is very helpful, all right? So one quick recap. Boss asked us to develop the complete data pipeline from source to destination. He mentioned 3 sources. 3 Spark job must be executed to extract and write the data. And finally, I have to run, right? 1 master Spark job, which should consume all the intermediate data and join it and write it to S3. Make sure it is automated. Simple. Have a check now. But Sai is completely a beginner, right? Sai is completely a beginner. See this conversation. But he asked boss, can I know the sources details? What he asked first? Can I know the sources?
Sources details.
What is the can you tell me the snowflake details? He asked, can you tell me the snowflake details? Can you tell me the S3 details? Can you give me the web API details? Right? Can you tell me the snowflake details? Right? Can you tell me the S3 details? Can you show me the web API details? First, let's analyze the sources first. Then boss replied back with the source informations. Right? Folks, let's understand the snowflake source. What is our first source actually? What is our first source? Snowflake. Then he started giving the snowflake details. Okay? Concentrate. I think this is snowflake. Let's see. One minute, folks. Yeah, this is the one. Yeah. Now let's check all the sources, folks. Right? Now he started giving all the sources. Let me write the sources for all of you. See? This is the sources my boss has provided. Did you see some snowflake URL he has provided? He has provided some username, password, and everything. Right? That was the first detail provided by the boss. Sai, this is your source. This is your snowflake source. Then he also provided the S3 data also. He provided, in S3, you have a data known as S3 colon Zio Auto SRC. This is a folder. This is a folder where you kept your source data. He also provided web API, the same URL which we are using for old batches, all the old batches. Let's hit the same web API URL. Right? So this is a web API URL. So totally all the sources boss has provided. Did you see that, all of you? Understood what it means? Yeah. So he has provided all the details. Now Sai started validating the source. Right? I repeat again. What is our first source? Snowflake. He gave this URL. Now Sai started visiting the URL. He started validating the data. To source, he started validating the data. All right. Yeah. Table name is source tab. Remember, DB table source tab. Right? Now let's go and validate the snowflake. This is a snowflake. Let's give the username. Let's give the password. And he tried logging in. Concentrate here, folks. Now he's logging in. Right? Folks, did you see Snowflake UI here? All of you. Correct? Now he opened a worksheet. Then he started validating the data. He opened a worksheet and started validating the data, right? Now check. Now, what is the table name he provided? What is the database he provided? Tell me.
0DB.
0DB. What is the schema name?
0
What is the table name?
SRC tab.
SRC.
SRC.
Now, what he thought? He thought of querying it. Select star from ziodb.zioschema.zio.
SRC
Sorry,
tab.
SRC tab. SRC tab.
Source.
Right? Source tab. First, he checked the data. He executed it. He can see the data. Did you see the data? All of you with me now? All of you?
Yes, sir.
See the data. I executed the table in Snowflake. I can able to see the data. All right. See the data here, the table information. This is a Snowflake data. Whatever the data you see here, it's a Snowflake data. Are you clear? What is the first source? Snowflake is the first source. Sai went and saw in the Snowflake. He can able to see the table as per the details provided by the boss. Right. Data verified. Shall I make it? Can I make it as data verified? Source data, all of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I.
Source data verified. Now, what he will validate now? What's the next one? S3 details.
3 details.
He will go to S3, and I already have the account created. He will go to S3 bucket, and he will see the second source this time. He will go to S3. Which bucket did my boss mention?
Zio
Right. Then he saw some bucket. He saw one important bucket. What is it? Zio Auto. He has gone inside Zio Auto. One sec. Let me delete this folder. He saw some folder known as Answer Zio Auto. There is a source. He see one file sitting. What is the format of this file?
RK.
RK file. RK file. This is also what? What happened to this data also? It is data verified. What's the third source? Web URL.
Random user.
This is your random user web URL. He hit the web URL and saw whether data is coming. Then he realized data is coming. Make sense, all of you, right now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Now the actual game starts. All of you. Now the actual game starts. Right? Now this data is also verified. What happened to this data? This data is also verified. Now concentrate, folks. Folks, after connect the dots. Boss asked to create the entire data pipeline. We have 3 sources: Snowflake, AWS, and Web API. 3 Spark jobs to extract the data, right? 1 master Spark job to consume and write the data to the destination. Ensure it is completely automated, right? Now, Sai asked it. Sai asked boss, can I know the source details? Where are the Snowflake details? There's 3 details in the Web API. Boss replied back, these are your Snowflake details, Sai. These are your S3 details, and this is your Web API. Pakka? All of you, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Done.
Yes.
Done. It's done. Now, all good. Data is also verified. See the conversation, right? Now, Sai asked a question to boss. I mean, informed to boss. Boss, I verified the data. Everything is good. Everything is looking good. But to process this data, I need a Spark environment. Is it not, all of you? For extraction, for processing, what you need actually? Tell me. You need a Spark environment. Right? I need to develop. I need to test my code. I have to develop my code. I need a dev environment, or whichever the environment is. I need a Spark environment. Where can I develop my code? Valid question, all of you. I saw the sources are looking fine, boss. I validated the data. Data is fine, boss. What I need right now, I need to process data in a Spark environment. Where will I develop my code? All of you are with me? Are you with me?
To run the
Yes,
Spark.
sir.
Folks, it's time to develop what? We have to generate what? This
Spark
guy.
job.
Spark jobs.
Run the Spark
Now
code.
it's time to, I already verified it. This is looking fine. Wonderfully, I saw all the data sources. Everything is looking fine. Now it's time to develop this Spark environment. But where will I develop my code?
In AWS.
Then my boss replied, right? Then my boss replied, Sai, AWS cloud, right? I mean, he replied, Sai, good that you verified the data. Good, you verified data. Now, regarding Spark development, Spark code development. Regarding the Spark code development, AWS provide a Hadoop service installed with Spark. What he's saying, folks? AWS provide what service? Hadoop service installed with Spark. The service name is AWS. Sorry, EMR. What is the service name, folks? Tell me. EMR. What is stated? Sai, you want to develop the Spark code. Yes. I want to develop this entire Spark code. 3 Spark extraction code. Folks, remember, these are Spark extraction jobs. This is master job. You understood the difference between 3 and this one, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Remember, this is my extraction job, normal job. That means we are using it only for the extraction. The last Spark job is nothing but your master job. Now, Sai asked, okay, boss, I'll develop it, boss. No problem. I'll develop this code. But where will I develop this code? I mean, which environment I'll develop this code? Then boss replied back, Sai, AWS itself provide a Hadoop service installed with Spark, right? Create a 2-node cluster. How many node cluster is asking? Tell me.
2 node.
2-node cluster with Spark installed in it, right? Create a cluster. Create your own cluster. See, you should understand how development works in real time. In real time, we create our own clusters. Okay, that's the reason. See the conversation. Create your own cluster with Spark installed in it. Create a own cluster with 2 nodes. 2 nodes with Spark installed in it, and let me know. And he stated, and let me know. Are you with me? 39 folks, are you okay? Feeling okay better now? Slowly. 39 folks.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir.
See, conversation, maximum, this conversation is a major guide, folks, for you. This conversation is very important. He asked to develop the entire pipeline, 3 sources, 3 extraction jobs, 1 master job, big job, and he asked for the details. Boss provided the details. Then Sai asked where to develop my code. Boss mentioned what is the service? Service name is
EMR.
He asked to create your own 2-node cluster with Spark installed and let me know. Now, immediately, what Sai did has gone to AWS. All right. In the search box, he typed what? EMR.
EMR.
He typed EMR. So he typed EMR, and he has to create what? Create
Cluster.
Now, what Sai did? He has gone inside EMR and typed here for example, dev cluster. Okay, let's go with 1 node, folks. I mean, 1 master node, 1 slave node. Let's not create more. It may hinder the automation. So for now, I'm just creating 1 node. So my boss is very clear. What you have to install for sure? Tell me. Spark. Look at it. I went inside something known as EMR service. Check it here. Check here, folks. In AWS, we have something known as EMR service. Sai has gone inside it. Then he saw old clusters already created. He not sure who created it. That's okay. No, nothing to bother. He triggered create cluster And we have to fill all these details. Dev cluster. All right. Then he clicked the Spark. He want to install Spark. Spark is mandatory one. If you want, he can put the Hadoop also. He selected what are the tools he want. He needs Spark. He need Hadoop. Hive not mandatory. He just selected two softwares to get installed. Then one node cluster. Did you see one node cluster? All of you. One slave node. All of you. Did you see number of instances here? All of you.
Yes, sir.
One slave node. Don't worry about this EC2 key pair. We'll come back. 39 folks may not be aware of it, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. Role he can select. Instance profile. Anything is okay. That's it. Now create cluster. That's it. So now my boss asked to create my own cluster. Concentrate here. Now my dev cluster is about to get created. Why we need dev cluster? Can you tell me why we need dev cluster now? Why I need a cluster now?
To develop the code.
Develop the code.
Which code?
For development.
Which
Spark
code?
code.
Spark code.
Extraction.
Spark code. I want to develop my Spark code. In my data pipeline, how many Spark jobs I have in my data pipeline?
Three Spark job.
Three Spark jobs I have.
Master.
3 Spark jobs I have. So in the extraction place, how many master jobs I have?
One master job.
Now I'm concentrating on which job? Extraction jobs. Extraction jobs. Now, to develop my code, I need a cluster, but I need a Spark environment. What my boss asked to create? Hey, Sai, create your own cluster, Sai, and start your development. Do that make sense? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now check. My cluster is getting created. My cluster is on place. It is in the starting state, right? It is in starting state. Check here. All right. It is in the starting state. Now, we cannot start using this cluster immediately once it is in the starting state, right? I asked my boss, right? So I put a mail to the boss. Boss, I have started my cluster. I've started my cluster. It is in starting state. What is the state of my cluster now? Tell me. In AWS.
Starting stage.
Starting.
Right? Then my boss replied back, Sai, you have to wait till the state turns to running state. Sorry, waiting state. Which state it has to turn to? Tell me.
Waiting state.
Waiting state.
Start waiting running.
Waiting state. That means not immediately you can start. See, Sai, doesn't mean that once you start the cluster, you can start using this cluster, right? So wait till it gets into waiting state. Till that, let's discuss about the requirement. Before, right? My boss also said, till the cluster turns waiting. Let's talk about the requirement more. All right. Right? More. Now, Sai asked, sure. Then my boss replied back, right? Sai, you have to develop 3 extraction jobs. Correct? How many extraction jobs?
3 extraction.
Jobs.
3.
And 1
Master.
master job.
Master job.
One master job. So 3 extraction jobs, Spark jobs, should write data to S3. Yes or no? All of you. This guy I'm talking about. Correct? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. Now, use below details to write the data. Use below details to write the data. What is a below details? Snowflake data must be written to S3 colon Zayo Auto, right? Zayo Auto dest site count. What is the path he is giving for the target? I'm talking about this guy. You got my point, what I mean? All of you?
Yes, I.
Yes, sir.
Amazon.
Right? S3 source data must be written to S3 colon Zayo Auto test. I think this is, let me find customer API. No. Okay, let me show you. Total amount data. Imagine this path. Imagine this path. Total amount data. Web API source must be written to S3 colon, right? Customer data. This is the target locations. Folks, all of you are clear? He gave all the output paths. What he gave here? Can anyone tell me what he gave here? He gave the output path of every source. What is this output path? Can you tell me? Snowflake data.
Column.
This guy, isn't it? You understood the point, all of you? This one.
Yes, sir.
This one. This is 3. All right. He's talking about this guy. This guy's output path is this one. Right? This one. The second source data must be written to which location as an intermediate? To a location known as total
amount data.
data. That he's talking about this path. What about the last one? Directly
Customer
should be
API.
customer API data. This is a location for this. So he started giving all the 3 destination paths. Sai stated, okay, boss. Right? Sai stated, okay, boss. Now, boss asked, now hope you got some idea. Right? He added a point. Right? Sai, always remember 3 extraction jobs, Spark jobs you are going to trigger that has to write data to S3 intermediate locations, right? To be consumed by other team. Finally, you have to trigger one master job to join all the data and write the final data to S3 again, right? Now, there is the final S3 path is, he also gave the final S3 path. The final S3 path is final customer data. What is final S3 path, folks? Tell me. Final
customer.
Final S3 path. Are you with me so far? All of you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right? So I'm going step by step, folks. Folks, I'll go from the beginning. Concentrate. First, he asked what we have to develop. Folks, tell me what we have to develop. Complete data pipeline. From source to destination. How many sources we have?
3 sources.
3 sources.
Snowflake.
Which cloud environment we are going to develop?
AWS.
We have to trigger how many extraction jobs?
3
Tell me.
Spark jobs.
3 extraction jobs. First extraction job, second extraction job, and third extraction jobs. Write it to where the data has to be written.
S3.
And after that, finally, you have to trigger what?
One master.
One master job. Where it has to write the data?
S3.
S3. Then ensure finally what? Everything should be
Automated.
And it automated.
Then what Sai asked with the boss? Can I have the source details?
Sources details.
Boss provided all the source details for us. Then finally, boss asked, I verified the data, but I need a Spark environment. Then what boss asked? One boss said, right? Create your own EMR cluster for Spark development. Then, right? It is in starting state. Which state you have to wait for?
Waiting.
Meanwhile, boss started giving the folders. Snowflake data should be written to site count. S3 data should be given to total amount data. Web API data should be sent to Customer
Customer
API.
API.
Alright, customer API.
The final master path also
Final
final
customer.
Final customer.
Final customer.
Now, boss also mentioned, Sai, go and check. Cluster should have turned to
Waiting state.
waiting state. Waiting state. Log into it and start your development. Paka, all of you, shall we start our development now? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now
Yes,
check. This is a core one. Let's start our development. Sai immediately gone curious to AWS. Then he found his cluster is in which state now? It is in
Waiting state.
Waiting state.
right. 39 batch folks, don't worry how I'm logging in. 38 and the old batch folks, if I'm logging into the AWS, what authentication I have to do?
DNS.
No, old batch folks, you have to answer me.
With the key pair.
Key pair.
Keep your authentication.
Key pair authentication, correct? 39 batch folks, don't panic. Old batch folks know already, you don't panic. We call it as key pair authentication. All right. One sec, let me key pair authentication. Yes. Now I'm logging into the cluster. Finally, my EMR cluster is ready. What is ready right now? Folks, tell me.
EMR cluster.
EMR cluster is ready. Now it's time to develop my code. Right? Old batch folks. See, I would like to tell you, if anyone is not interested, you can leave. Right? If anyone is not interested, kindly leave. Because we took a lot of efforts to make you ensure today we have AWS session. It's not like you can join anytime, leave anytime. The rule will be same, no matter how many batches I start with. If anyone is not interested, kindly leave. Right? Just telling you. Right? So that's fine. But later on, if you're leaving after I put a lot of efforts, you hope you understand how much of efforts I'm putting. My effort should not get wasted. Same applies for 39 batch. You are also be cautious about it, please. Right? Now, Sai logged into which cluster now? All of you?
EMR cluster.
EMR cluster. Now it's all good. Cluster is ready. Everything is ready. Now Sai put a mail to boss. Right? Sai put a mail to boss. Boss, I have logged in to the cluster. What's next? Boss replied back, Sai, you have to open Spark Shell to start your development. You have to open your Spark Shell to start your development. All right. Now, please concentrate here. Be cautious. He put a disclaimer. Be cautious. Right? Be cautious enough. We have Snowflake integration. What we have here? Which integration do I have? We have Snowflake integration. We need that connector. Folks, am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need that connector when you open Spark Shell. Folks, now what he's asking us right now. Sai, you have to open a Spark Shell to start your development. Be cautious. We have Snowflake integration. What we need it actually while opening the Spark Shell. Tell me, we need a
Connector.
When you open Spark Shell, we need that connector. Be cautious. Now, I can open Spark Shell like this. Simply, I can open a Spark Shell like this. But I will not have the Snowflake connector while developing my code. All of you agree my point or not? Yes?
Yes, sir.
You get my point?
Yes, sir.
I open a Spark Shell. My Spark Shell will open, but I will not have a respective Snowflake connector, right? Please open Spark Shell with Snowflake connector. That was my boss requested. Now my Spark Shell has opened. But this Spark shell do not have a snowflake connector. So what Sai thought, okay, right? Let's not, I just come out. Then we need the snowflake connector. While I'm opening this Spark shell, if I need a snowflake connector, right? How can I do it? Can anyone tell me how to achieve it? How will I achieve it?
Adding jars. Adding
Maven
packages.
jars.
Reference, Maven
Package.
reference.
We need what?
Installing the
Maven?
packages.
Maven packages. You remember we need a Maven package? All of you?
Yes.
Yes, I remember, sir.
We have to use what? Spark shell hyphen packages. Give the
Network.
Group ID.
group ID, artifact ID,
Artifact
and the
ID version.
version. Give that. Now, my Spark shell will open by downloading the Snowflake connector. Did you see it is getting downloaded? All of you? Correct? Yes. Don't take it too much. I'm opening Snowflake with the connector. Just have that in the mind. Just have that in the mind. Let's not think about it too much. Let's not think about it too much. I'm opening my Spark shell to do entirely develop my Snowflake information. Perfect. So folks, this time my Spark shell has opened along with what? It downloaded what? Some
Snowflake.
jars. It downloaded some jars. Okay. Now my Spark shell is ready to start my development. My Spark shell is ready now. Now Sai started developing. Right? Sai replied back, boss, Spark shell is open with connector. I will start the work. Right? I will start the work. Stay in mute, please. Then boss replied back. Right? All the best. That's it. Nothing else. All the best. That's it. Now Sai started the work. Now it's time to what, folks? We have to read. Now let's start out the work. What is our first Spark job? Tell me. What is our first Spark job?
Extract data from Snowflake.
Extract data from Snowflake and write it to
S3.
S3.
Now, Spark wants to read the data from Snowflake. Sai has to read the data from where? From Snowflake, right? He already had the Snowflake details. Spark will use the same formula, right? Spark will use the same formula, right? Where snowdf is equal to, right? Spark.read.format.
That is Snowflakes.
Snowflake dot option. All comes under the further options. Makes sense, all of you, what I mean? Yeah?
Yeah.
Simple.
Dot load.
Dot load. What is my first option? SF URL.
URL.
Give the URL. Second one is SF account. Give the account name. Next one is SF user. Give the username. SF password. Give the password name. Password. Database. Database. Schema. Role. Warehouse. DB table. Are you with me? All of you so far? Done?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That's
Load.
dot load. Now, Sai will execute and check whether Sai can able to read the data from Snowflake. Folks, did you see? We got some positivity here. Now, snowdf dot show. Now, Sai started reading the data. Stay in mute, Pushkar. Stay in mute. Right? Now, Sai started reading the data. And finally, leave about the warnings. Some warnings are coming up. That's fine. Sai started reading the data. He got the Snowflake data first. Did you see that? Do that make sense? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah? Simple. Don't worry. Sai, how you connected? So, first of all, don't worry. Folks, Understand the output and the paint well. That's it. Don't think too much. Sai, what is you executed? How you open Spark Shell? No. See the outputs. Leave about the packages. That's not important. Leave about the Snowflake code. That's not important. The important point here is I got the Snowflake data as a data frame. Is it not the same data is sitting in the Snowflake also? Did you see the beautiful beer, all of you? Same data.
Yes, sir.
Same data is we got from we extracted the data. Do that make sense or not? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Simple. Folks, I'll tell you in just in a very high level, right? Now, just quick thing, right? How many sources do I have? I stated
3 sources.
Now, what I did, I
Extraction.
opened an EMR. What I opened which service now in AWS? Tell
EMR
me.
cluster.
AWS EMR cluster. In that AWS EMR cluster, right? I opened what? I opened Spark Shell.
Spark Shell.
I opened Spark Shell and I started reading the data. Finally, I got what there? I got
Data frame.
data frame. Finally, I got Snowflake data frame. Did you see I put a data frame here? All of you? Makes sense? Perfect. That's our first source. We got it as a data frame, right? Now, we have to process this data and write to which location of S3? 3 locations he already provided. What are the 3 locations he provided? Check. Snowflake data must be written to
The location.
Site
site
count.
count. First one should go to where? Site count.
Site count.
Second source data should go to where?
Total amount data.
Total amount data. Right? Total amount data. The path is total amount data. That's a second path. All right. That's a second one. What about the third one? Customer API.
Customer API.
Customer API. But what he's asking, Sai, once you read the first source, get the site count. What is asking actually? Per
Site
user.
count. Per user.
Username. That's the first process. Right? Now, the data has been written. Already the data has been read. Now it's time to find what? Site count. Did you see a site here? All of you?
Yes, site.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
See, site column. See the site column, right? See the site column. Now he's asking to get the count per user.
Site
now
count.
what I'll do, val aggdf is equal to snowdf dot group by
Right.
username aggregate of count of
Site.
site as CNT. That's it. That's what he's asking us to do. Understood all of you what he's asking us to do? Process it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
You thought so.
Dot show. Now let's see whether we got the site count. How many sites does the user visited? That's a simple information. Each user, see, beautiful beer itself, he visited this Mozilla 4.0. Again, Jakarta, then Mozilla 5.0. Again, Jakarta Common Hedge. Like that, every seems that user has visited so many site count. So did you see we got all of you, the site counts per
Yes,
user?
sir.
All of you. Big butterfly
Yes,
seems how many counts he has done? 1090.
1090.
Beautiful elephant, 1090. Big bird, 1098. Black mouse, 1961. All these are 1968. Big duck. Like that, we got this data. Finally, AGGDF is ready, right? The first source is found, right? First, I read the data using SnowDF. Second, I aggregated the data, and it's time to what? Write the data to what?
S3.
S3.
3.
First source. Let's write everything in Parquet. No change. Let's write everything in Parquet. Now, put a mode just to be safer side. Put mode
Correct.
dot save. S3 colon Zayo Auto test site count. Shoot. Right? So this first extraction is about to get completed. Yes or no, folks? First extraction is about to get completed. Correct? First extraction is completed. Now it has come back. Leave out. These are just warnings. Don't worry about it. Okay. These are just warnings. So finally, my shell has come out. Now my gut feel is this data should have got written. This is completed. Shall we go and check, all of you in the S3, whether this data is completed?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Let's go and check in S3 whether this data is written or not. Zayo Auto.
Yes.
Destination folder.
Did you see a desk folder got created, all of you?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes.
Yes. Inside it, there is can you see a site count?
Site
Yes.
count.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you see a Parquet file generated? Perfect.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now what happened? Can I mark it as green? All of you? Done?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's it. That's it. My first source is completed. But folks, what are the lines I have executed? Can you tell me what are the lines I have executed? First, I read the data. Then what? I have aggregated the data. Then I have
Right.
written the
Right.
Right.
Then I have what? Written the data. This is your first extraction job. Can I put like this here as a first extraction job, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Please.
Snowflake extraction job, right? That's a first source. Now the first source is completed. I'm taking a backup. Check, I'm taking a backup of the code. This is a working code. Can I consider this as a working code?
Yes, sir. Please.
Yes, sir.
This is completed. Now let's go for the next job. So folks, first extraction is completed. What is the second extraction now? Tell me. Second extraction. What is the second extraction now?
From S3. Source
S3.
S3.
S3. Now Sai opened a Spark shell again. Now Sai opened Spark shell. Same cluster. I started my development. Same cluster. I have started my development. Right? Well, S3DF is equal to, what is the source he provided? S3 source. I'm talking about the S3 source. Where is the source data for S3? Can you tell me? Where is the source data for S3?
Zero.
S3
They auto. Now Sai started developing it. Spark.read.format parquet.load. S3 colon Zayo auto
Source.
source.
Source. Source.
Source, yes. All right. Now this is the source data. S3df.show. Now still Sai is developing it. Now Sai is working on the extraction of data. What is this data, folks? This is your extraction data. Make sense, all of you? Yeah? Correct? So finally, Sai also got another data frame. Which source data is this? Tell me. It is a
S3.
second source data. Sai read the second source and finally, right, he got the second source data frame also. But what is the requirement? What we have to find for the second source once we read it? Get the total amount per username. That's the requirement. Total amount per username we have to find, right? And write the data to which location? To total amount.
Total amount. Destination total.
Destination data. Now Sai has read the second source data and he saw one amount data. Did you see amount data, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now we have to see beautiful beer has got this much of amount. Like that, I have so many usernames. So what we are going to do, find the count. Val aggdf is equal to S3df dot
Group by
Group
Group
by
by
username
username
dot AGG
dot
is
aggregate of
of
sum of
amount
amount.
amount
as
as
amount
total,
total amount.
right?
Total.
Since the data is huge, I'm casting it to integer. To which one I'm casting it, folks? Tell me.
Integer.
Integer. Integer type. I think this required a import. 1 minute, folks. Now, I'm finding the AGGDF. Now, AGGDF dot show. Let's see whether we'll get the total amount collected by every user. This is a second extraction. Which extraction is this, folks? Tell me. This
Second
is a
Second extraction.
second extraction. Now I got the. Did you see per username how much username collected? All of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right.
We got the second source data also. Now we got the data. To which location we have to write? To which location we have to write?
Destination.
Total amount data.
Total amount data.
Total amount data. Right? Let's write the data now. AGGDF dot write dot format parquet dot mode override save.
Save.
S3 colon
Colon
Zayo auto
auto
DST
test
total
total amount
amount
data.
data.
Done. My gut feel is this data is also written. This is also complete. This data is also complete. Shall we go to S3 and check whether we got this?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
sir.
Let's go and check Zayo bucket. Let's go to dest. We got what?
Total amount
data.
I got the respective parquets also available. Am I going in a good direction? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Second data is also extracted. First extraction data is extracted what? Site count.
Site count.
Second extraction data is
Total amount
generated
data.
what?
Total amount data.
Total
Data.
amount data. This is also completed. Done. Now it's time to reach what?
Web API.
Web API.
Web API. Third extraction. Web API data, I think you're already aware of it. All of you remember that Web API source?
Yes,
Correct?
sir. URL.
Yes, sir.
Random.
So it's time for the Spark to consume the third source Web API data. I already have the code available, right? Now let's go ahead with executing the code. Let's check. Now Sai executing the same Spark shell. Okay, before that, folks, what we have to take once development is completed, tell me what we have to do immediately. We have to take a backup of what?
Code.
Code, right? This is S3 extraction code. This is the first line. Second line. Third line. Are you with me so far? All of you? Done.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Done. I took a backup of S3 extraction. First, I have Snowflake extraction backup code. S3 extraction backup code. Now it's time to do what extraction now? Web API?
Web API.
Web API.
Now, I already have the code, like hitting the web URL, converting into JSON, explode everything I have. I'm executing one by one after straight away here, right? First, I'm extracting the data, right? Hitting the URL, printing the data, serialize, converting into a string, RDD, converting into a data frame, right? Converting into a data frame, exploding that array field, exploding the array field, flattening it completely, all right? Flattening it completely. And finally, I got the flattened DF. Folks, is this my required data frame?
Yes, sir.
Extracted data.
Yes,
Yes, and
sir.
all of you. Is this my extracted data?
Yes,
Correct?
sir.
Yes. That's the requirement. Once we got the extracted data, what we have to do with this extracted data? Tell me. Once we get this, what we have to do with this extracted
Load
data?
into the customer API bucket.
Right? Once you get this extracted data, no, you already done a transformation. You already got the flattened data. Now write the data to where? To which location? Tell me.
Customer API.
Customer API.
Now it's time to write the data, right? Flatten df dot write dot format of parquet dot mode overwrite
Right.
dot save S3 Zayo auto test customer API. Customer underscore API. That's it. This is a final flatten df dot write dot format of parquet mode overwrite save the data. Now data is completed. Now my gut feel is this data should have also written. Shall we go and check now whether the third
Yes,
data
sir.
is also extracted?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's go and check. Let's go to bucket, right? Let's go
Yes.
to dest. One sec. Did I mean? Oh, yeah. Here,
Yeah.
customer API. So all the extraction jobs are completed. All of you, yes. My
Yes,
development
yes.
is completed, right?
Yes.
All the customer data is completed. The first one is site count data. That is from Snowflake. I processed it and returned the data. Second one is
S3 bucket.
S3
total
data.
amount data.
I have read the data and I processed it and written here. I have read the API data and written the data to customer API data. So all the extraction jobs are completed. Now, if I go to the master diagram, I have happily completed all the extraction data. Can I make it green, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Done.
Please.
It is completed. Now I put a mail back to my boss, right? Boss. So we have to take the backup of the code. You remember, all of you?
Yes, I.
Yes, sir.
This is a backup, folks. I already have a code. This is a backup. I took the backup of all the codes. What is the first code I have extracted? Tell me. Snowflake.
Snowflake.
Snowflake extraction. What is the second extraction I have done?
S3
Yes,
bucket.
3 extraction.
S3 extraction.
Three.
What's the
Web
last
API.
extraction I have done?
Web
Web
API
API.
extraction.
I took a backup of all the code and put a mail to my boss, right? Boss, I have extracted all the sources and written the data to AWS
S3 bucket.
S3 intermediate location. Now, all these are in green. All these are in green, folks, because I have completed everything now. All 3 extractions are completed. These data are sitting in which location S3? It is in desk folder. Site count is a Snowflake processed data. Total amount data is a S3 processed data. Customer API is a web API processed data. Correct? All of you? Done.
Yes, sir.
Everything is completed. Now, my boss, right? Sai put a mail to boss. Then boss replied back, all right, wonderful. What are you waiting for? Start your development for what? For what? This is completed, right? What's the next job immediately?
Master job.
Master job.
Start the development for master job. Master job is a main job. Master job is a main job, right? Now, I want to recap on it. Read all the 3 extracted data. Join. Take care of Karthik Ramu. Karthik Ramu, take care of it. Okay. I want to be so polite here. I want to be very polite, Mr. Karthik Ramu. This could be a last warning. I want to be very polite here, Mr. Karthik Ramu. Take care of the mail. Yeah. Recap. Right? He started giving the recap. Now read all the extracted data. Join with username and write the final results to S3 destination, right? Destination. The final S3 destination is S3 colon Zeo Auto test final customer. Folks, are you with me so far?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A quick recap, folks. How it all started? What my boss asked to develop what?
Complete data
Complete
pipeline.
Pipeline.
Source to
Source
destination. How many sources do we have?
3 sources.
Three sources. Which environment we are going to do the development?
AWS Cloud.
Cloud
AWS cloud environment.
Cloud environment. How many extracted jobs he mentioned?
3
extraction.
sources.
First Spark job should write to S3.
With this
Second
Three
Sharp
bucket.
jobs also should S3.
Three bucket.
Third is also to
That
S3.
is paid data.
But what is the source for the first Spark job?
Snowflake.
Snowflake to S3. Second Spark job,
S3.
S3 to S3. Third
Web
Spark
API.
job,
Web
Web
API
API
to
to S3. Once it is done, you have to run what? One big
Master job.
master Spark job,
Master job.
in which you join all the data with username and write to S3, but ensure you are
Automated.
automating it. Now, Sai asked the source details. Boss provided all the source details. But Sai asked, right? Sai asked, where can I develop my code? Then boss said, AWS provides a Spark code development service as what is a development service?
EMR.
EMR, right? Then Sai started his own cluster, right? Then he waited for the waiting state. Meanwhile, boss provided the intermediate destination folder. Yes, or no, folks? Where you have to write the Snowflake
Yes,
data.
sir.
Where you have to write this.
Yes.
Then boss also provided the final destination also. Then he started his job, but he ensured we are starting with the connector. Then final, stay on mute, folks. What is the problem, Venkat and Abhishek? Stay in mute. Stay in mute. That's okay. Stay in mute. Stay in mute. Now, Sai extracted all the source data, written data to S3 intermediate. Now, what boss insisted to do now?
Master job.
Create one master job. Right? 39 folks, are you with me so far? Are you with me so far?
Yes,
Yes,
All of you can able to understand what I'm doing here.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
The next part in the second half would be we'll be generating one master job to the destination, and we are going to do the entire jobs using a Lambda automation. What we are going to do finally?
Lambda
Lambda
automation.
jobs are
Master
automated.
Lambda automation. This is the final automation we are going to achieve in second half. What is Lambda automation going to do is, see what Lambda is, this is pretty important one. What Lambda automation is going to do in AWS. I'm talking about AWS Lambda automation. What this guy is going to do is, one sec, folks. One sec, folks.
So silly people.
One sec. Some cheap people do join. We have to tolerate them. Okay. Yeah. Now, we have a concept known as Lambda automation. What is that Lambda automation is, right? A cluster itself gets created. Cluster creation will happen. One sec, folks. Right? So, cluster gets created automatically using Lambda. 4 Spark jobs, including master jobs, gets executed automatically, right? Cluster gets terminated automatically. That we are going to see in the second half. Is it a good automation? All of you here?
Yes, sir.
Get terminated.
Sorry, terminated. So everything, Cluster start, cluster end, everything is taken care by Lambda automatically. I already kept it ready, right? I kept on AWS server, one event-based trigger already. This guy can do magic. Zayo Lamb. You see something as Zayo Lamb, right? That
Yes, sir.
Zayo Lamb can do wonder here. This Zayo Lamb creates the cluster, execute the job, terminates the cluster. But what is inside this Zayo Lamb? You have to wait till second half. We had to develop what? Master Spark job, correct? All of you agree?
Yes,
We
sir.
had to develop a Master Spark job. So we'll meet in the second half. Yeah. Old batch folks, is it going good? I mean, is it okay so far? Old batch folks?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Lambda is something which we have introduced. You need to understand AWS Lambda, what AWS Lambda is capable of doing, right? This guy can do wonders actually. AWS Lambda can do wonders. This guy can take care of creating a cluster, running the job, terminating the cluster, everything can be automated, right? So that we are going to see in second half. Let's wait for the magic, right? Old batch folks, post break, it hardly takes 15 to 20 minutes to complete the session. Make sense? You better, all of you? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, before I end, let's second half is very important. Before that, hope everyone, old batch folks should have seen my status. The new batch enrollments have started, which is going to start in May mid, approximately. So in case of any reference, my number is back. I got number issues in between. My number is back. All right. This is my permanent number. This number got some issues in between, but right now it is fine. So kindly ask your referrals to call me. One quick update. New batch in 6 weeks. Then 40 cashbacks starts in 2 weeks. Batch 40 cashbacks. 39 cashbacks are still pending. I mean, not for everyone. Hardly 30 to 40 are pending approximately. Right? Because of this WhatsApp issues, we can't even give notifications to anyone because of number of WhatsApps got banned. Reasonlessly, it got banned. So pending will also be sent this slot. So new batch is getting started in 6 weeks, folks. Any referrals, ask them to call me for this number. That's the first update. Batch 40 cashback starts in 2 weeks. If you have the referrals, you will receive it. 39 any pending that you will receive it in the slot itself. Just giving a heads up. Fine, folks. Shall we meet for Lambda automation, the second half? All the old batch folks.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Sure. Let's meet back sharp by just 7 minutes break, folks. Don't take me wrong. Let's 7 minutes break. We'll start the topic immediately. Lambda automation. Lambda automation. With after a recap of it, we'll do a Lambda automation, but we'll do one recap of from the beginning, just for 5 minutes, 2 minutes to 5 minutes. Then we talk about AWS Lambda automation. Stay tuned, just 6 minutes to 7 minutes. Thank you, folks. Yeah.
Sai,
Okay,
will you
and-
provide me the tables for hands-on?
I will provide it by end of this session. I'll tell you what I can provide. All right. So fine, folks. Let's meet by 5:55. That's okay. It's already crossed. Let's meet by 5:55. But stay tuned. Let's meet back sharp by 5:55. Right? Please, folks. Let's meet back. Stay in the meeting. Stay in the meeting. Stay in the meeting. Don't leave and join back. In this crowd, if anything goes wrong, we don't have time. Stay in the meeting. All right. Thank you, folks. Meet back 5:55 sharp. We'll meet Lambda automation. Thank you. Yeah, folks, I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, I.
Folks, we'll just do a quick recap of what we have seen right now. Then we jump into the final automation. All right, folks? Yep. Now have a check. Right. Now, let me remove all these folders. All right. Let me come out of cluster. Let me check. Let me remove all the data. These are the 3 data sets I have generated. Correct? All of you agreed? Yep. These 3.
Yes, sir.
I'm deleting it completely. Let's generate it with a recap. 5 minutes quick recap, folks. Yeah. Now, I'll go ahead, right? Check here. The request was to generate the entire data pipeline from source till the destination. The source is saying there are 3 sources: Snowflake, S3, and Web API. We have to read the Web API, and we have to read the Snowflake source, S3 source, and the Web API source. Process everything in the as extraction data, write it to S3. From all the intermediate S3, 3 folders. We have 3 folders, right? We have to read it and run one master job and write the data to S3. Clear with the requirement first. Correct? Next. Are you clear? All of you are clear with the requirement?
yes,
Yes, sir.
Then we need a Spark environment to develop our. What we did, so what my boss instructed to do, to create our own EMR cluster. Now what Sai did, Sai created his own, he went to here, EMR, he created a cluster and he logged in. And he just logged in. Right? Using key pair authentication. There is a concept of key pair authentication. He will log in. He logged in. Now, Sai open a Spark shell, but we have to open Spark shell. How we should open the Spark shell to log in? Tell me how we have to open the Spark shell along with Snowflake.
Snowflake.
Connect. We have to connect along with Snowflake
version.
Right? Because we have a Snowflake connectivity, right? So he opened along with Snowflake.
Sparks version 2.4.
The version. Now, Sai will open Spark shell. Now he started his development. First, the source extraction. Folks, we'll start the Lambda automation in 5 to 10 minutes, maximum 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, now my Spark shell is open. So what is the first source? Can anyone tell me what is the first source? Tell me.
Snowflake.
Snowflake. This is a Snowflake extraction code. First, Sai executed the Snowflake extraction code. First, he read the data from Snowflake. Then he processed the aggregation and he has written to S3 also. First extraction is completed. Yes or no, all of you?
Yes, sir.
If I go back and check, first extraction is completed. Check. Site count data is generated. All good. Now, what is the second source?
S3.
S3. He read the data, find the count, find the sum, and he generated the further data also. Done. Second source data is also extracted. Let's go and check. Second source data, total amount data is also extracted. Are you with me so far, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Second source data is also extracted. What is the source? Third source data? It is Web API. Now Sai is executing the third Web API source code in the EMR. Check. 1 sec, sorry. Right? So it's a third source data. Executed everything. Right? And finally, the data has written to
S3.
S3. So finally, all the intermediate data is looking good. Intermediate data are looking fine. Are you with me, all of you so far? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Everything is.
yes, sir.
Now, the requirement is we have to finally generate one Spark job. Now let's develop our Spark job, final master Spark code. Final master Spark code. In this final master code, have a check. I have to read all the sources. What are the sources I have this time? Three sources. This is my first source. Yes or no, folks? Snowflake count is the first source, correct? All of you?
Yes, sir.
All are in S3 location.
Everything is S3 location now. This is my S3 data, which generated some time ago. This is my web API data, which generated some time ago. Now, these three becomes source for my final data. Now, while df1 is equal to spark.read.format parquet.load. I'm loading the first source. Are you with me, all of you so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, right.
Yes.
I'm reading the second source. And I'm reading the third source also. I'm reading the third source also, right? df1, df2, df3. So the intermediate location, this one, and this one, all these three sources, I am reading it right now. This is my first source, right? I'm reading all the three sources now. First source, which was actually Snowflake output. I'm reading it in df1. Second source, which is a S3 data. Third source is web API data. Now I started developing my master job. Can you see that, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Did I start developing my master job? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now have a check, right? Now have a check. Three sources are done, but one small thing is web API data will have numericals. Let me remove username numericals. Let me remove the join. A small process. Web API data will have numericals for the username. One minute. Yeah, this username have the numericals. Let me remove it before I join. Some join I perform, okay? Don't worry, folks, this is just a regex replace. Don't worry too much about it. I'm performing the master code now. All right? I'm performing the master code. I'm removing the numericals first. Don't worry how I'm executing. See the final data. See the final data. All right? See the final data once now. Yeah. See the final data. df3. Then join all the, this is a fourth line code. Don't worry, what is this code? Just removing the numericals from the username to do a easy join. All right. Now it's time to join all the three. Now let's join all the three. Well, final join is equal to, right? df1 dot join of df2 with left join. It's a left join. rm dot join of df1 sequence of username left join. I'm performing the join, right? Dot join of df3, sorry, df2 sequence of username left join. From web API data, I'm doing a complete left join. This is my final join result. Folks, you need not worry about Sai. What is a DSL you're doing? Now here, DSL is not my goal. I'm doing some DSL operations. Imagine I perform some DSL operation, right? I read all the sources, removed the numericals, and finally I joined all the data. This is my final data to be written. This is my post. Did you see that, folks? This is a total join data. Now it's time to write the data to S3. Don't worry what kind of a DSL operation I'm performing. Now I have to write the final data to S3. Format Parquet, mode overwrite, save. S3 colon, Zayo Auto, test, final customer. That's it, folks. Final master job. One sec. Column already exists. Consider to choose another column. Okay, okay. I understand. 1 minute. Count. Which column has count? One sec, folks.
Yes, Snowflake outputs.
In DF and
Okay, let's
lean
drop
of
it.
the column.
Let's not spend more time on it. Let's drop it. Just dropping it for now. That's okay. That's it. Now, this is my final code. Master data code, folks. This is also tested. So, folks, I read all the sources. I mean, for the master data, did some I've done some join also. It's there. Where is the join query? Yeah. I've done some join in between. I removed the numericals, did some join in between, and finally have written the data as final customer. Now, I have finally written the data to where? To which location I have written the data?
Destination.
Final destination. S3. Now, let's go and check at the back end whether final customer is available. I have this final customer. Make sense? All of you so far?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
Sai, what is a DSL you performed here? What is SQLs you performed here? That's not the goal. Imagine I read all the 3 intermediate sources. I've done some DSL removal. Then I have joined all the data frames. And I finally written the data to where? To the
Yes, sir.
final customer. So, folks, what is your first Spark job? Extracting the data from Snowflake.
Snowflake.
What is your second Spark job? Extracting the data from?
S3.
What is the third Spark job?
Web
Extracting the
API.
data from?
Web
Web
API.
API. What is the fourth Spark job? Reading the data from
Final
all the
All
intermediates
them.
and write the data to the final customer. 39 batch folks, don't worry. Tomorrow, we are going to see the recap. It will be definitely helpful for you to understand it better. We just started the session. We just started the cloud session. So don't worry. So folks, one question all of you. Where am I developing the entire code here? Where am I developing the entire code here?
EMR.
Partial integrated
EMR.
model.
Spark. Where is my Spark is
EMR.
developed?
EMR.
EMR. EMR. Right? Now I put a mail back to my boss, right? Sai has put a mail back to the boss. Boss, I have implemented 3 extraction jobs. I have implemented the master job also. Correct? All of you? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Took a backup of the code also. Took a backup of the code also. Right? So have a check. I repeat, this is my first job. Snowflake job is my extraction is my first job. S3 extraction is my second job. Web API extraction is my third job. Master job is my fourth job. Everything I've extracted, and finally I have the data written in S3. Makes sense, all of you? Now? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Done. Now, boss will reply back, right? Boss will reply back, right? Side, that's great, right? That's great. You have completed the development. Terminate the cluster. Valid. Why we need a cluster? It would cost us Sai. Terminate it immediately. What is asking me to do now? Terminate
The cluster.
going to the EMR. This cluster help us to complete the development. He is terminating the cluster. That's it. Folks, I created the cluster, developed all the 4 Spark jobs, terminated the cluster. Is it not? What is not the flow? Did all of you agree my flow? Correct.
Yes, sir.
I started a cluster, developed all the 4 Spark jobs, and terminated the cluster. That's it. It is getting terminated now. This shell will be gone now. This shell will be gone shortly. The cluster which I just logged in is done. Why am I terminating the cluster? The work is completed, right? Development is completed. I took the code backup. Everything is ready with me, right? Everything I took. Snowflake code is in the under safe. I have a backup. S3 data is under backup. Web API is under backup. Master code under backup. Everything is fine. I terminating the cluster, right? So finally, the cluster gets terminated, right? It will be terminating shortly. No other URIs, no other work for us. Now let's what? Folks, can anyone tell me what I just did as manual intervention? Manually what I did. Manually what I did.
Open the EMR and run the Spark job.
Go slow. Created a
Cluster.
Hadoop cluster.
Hadoop cluster.
Created a Hadoop cluster. Correct? All of you.
Yes, sir.
Executed 4 Spark jobs. Spark development code. What are the 4 Spark development code? Can you tell me? 4 Spark.
Snowflake,
Spark
Web
job.
API,
Execution code, one
Bucket.
master job.
First one is
Snowflake.
Snow job. Can I make it as, folks, can I mention as Snow job? First one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Second one is
S3.
S3 job.
S3 job.
Web API job.
Third one is
API.
API job. The last
Master
one
job.
is
Master
master
job.
job.
Master job.
Once my work is completed, what did I do? I have
Terminate the cluster.
Terminated the development.
terminated the cluster. Once my job is completed, I have terminated the cluster. You know what? We have to automate this. Whatever I've done in first half. First, I created a cluster, executed 4 Spark development code. Code is ready with me. Yes. Code is absolutely ready with me, as I keep mentioning it, right? 4 codes are ready with me. And I also see the output. See, folks, cluster is gone. Did you see cluster is gone here? If I go and check, cluster should have terminated. Did you see the cluster is terminated? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Gone. I created my cluster. I developed this 4 Spark development code. I terminated the cluster and I took a backup of the code. I took the backup of the code. Everything was looking fine, right? Now, the actual game starts now, right? Now my boss instructs something to me. He put a mail again. Sai, can you delete the test folder now? What is asking me to do? Tell me, folks. Can you delete the
Delete the desk folder.
Desk
Destination
folder.
folder.
Now what Sai did? Boss, I have developed a lot, but my boss is very clear. Delete Sai. Delete the folder Sai. Click, delete. Click, delete. Shoot. All right. Did I delete the desk folder? All of you. Did I delete the
Yes,
desk
sir.
folder? All of you. Gone. Now look at my boss thug life. Some swag now. Concentrate now. Folks, from this it is very, very important. From now it is very important. Folks, did I took a backup of the code or not? Did I took a backup of the code? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Everything.
Yes, sir.
Now my boss has started his thug life. Now see what my boss is saying. Right? Concentrate, folks. Sai, can you create a folder in S3 Zayo Auto? Tell me anything trending today. Anything trending in India?
IBM.
IBM.
I expected this, we will say. Sai, create a directory known as IPL dir. What is asking me to do? Tell me, to create a directory known as
IPL directory.
IPL dir. Check now. Immediately what Sai said, as boss instructed, Sai created a folder known as
IPL dir.
IPL dir. That's the boss first requirement. Are you with me, all of you, so far?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Sai created a folder known as IPL. See how the automation works. See the automation works. Very interesting automation, right? So IPL dir. See, he created an IPL dir folder. Second, Sai, can you put your backup code? How many codes? How many backup code I have? How many developments and activities I have done? Tell me. Four development activities. One is Snow job. Other one is
S3 job,
S3 job.
API
Other
job,
one is
master
API
job,
job.
Master
Snow job, S3 job, API job, and
Master
master
job.
job.
Master.
Can you put your backup code in the Eclipse and generate the jar? Put this backup code to your Eclipse. Generate the jar now. Generate the jar. And place it in the same bucket. Where is asking us to place? Tell me. In
Same
the
bucket.
same bucket. Now look at this, where he's going through. First, what my boss asked to do? To delete the desk
disk
folder.
folder,
Then what my boss asked to do?
IPL
Create
dir
the
folder.
IPL dir. Now my boss asking to put a code in the Eclipse,
And generate
generate
jar.
the jar, place it in the same bucket. You remember I have the backup of the code, all of you?
Yes.
Yes. Now what I did, I already created the bucket. I already created here, folks. Folks, did you see I created a project here in the left side? Did you see in the left side? Zayo Spark.
Yes, sir.
All right. So have a check here, one minute. Yeah. Now I already have the job. See, under a package, I created one Maven package. Under the Maven package, a project I created one package. Inside that, I kept four objects. Did you see four objects? Snow, API, S3, and master. Is it the required data? All of you, whatever I have here.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Yes. Now it's time to put the backup. Let me remove the backup code. Right. The first, it's a snow data. I'm removing it for now. Next one is
Yes, sir.
S3 data.
one sec. S3 data. Let's remove the code. Third one is API data. Let me remove the code. Let's remove the master data. I'll put from the beginning. Okay, I'll start from the beginning. Now imagine I created one Maven package. Inside it, I have four objects. All right. Now have a check here. First, I'm going to the snow object. Snow object. Folks, what is my project name? What is my project name?
Geospark.
Geospark.
Under it, how many objects I've created?
Four objects.
Four objects. First, I select snow.
Snow.scalar.
Snow.scalar. Inside it, I keep what data? Snow flag
Backup.
extraction data.
Yes, extraction data.
Perfect. All of you, are you with me so far?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Done. The next one, I'm going to use what? X3 extraction data. S3 extraction. I keep the S3 data now. Right? I put the snowflake data in the snowflake.scalar. Now I'm putting the code in the S3 data. See? S3 extraction data. I'm pasting it in the object. Next one is web API extraction. I'm taking the data. I'm going inside API data, API.scalar, and I'm placing it. What is the last job? Tell me what is the last job?
Master job.
Master. Take entire master job, place it here. So I kept the entire code in a Eclipse project. Yes or no, all of you? You agree my point so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
So first, I developed the entire code in AWS EMR, took the backup, and I created one Maven project. 4 objects I have created. What are the, go in an order. What is the first object I have created? Snow.
Snow.scalar.
What is the second one?
Yeah,
API. S3.
Third one is,
API.
fourth one is.
Master.
Now it's time to build the jar. Hope you know how to build the jar, right?
yes, I.
Maven build. Package. Right? Now, jar is available now. My jar is completely available now. Now, folks, have a check. In the target folder, my jar is available. Let's go to this project. Finally, I have generated the jar. Check here, folks. Finally, I have generated the jar in this path with all the 4 objects. This is the jar path. Folks, did you see the jar generated? All of you here, executable jar. Yes?
Yes, sir.
In this jar, if I go inside this jar using 7-zip, I have that package inside it. Inside it, I have all the objects sitting. Is this our required objects, all of you? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
I generated the jar now. Inside the jar, if I go inside the jar and check, pack, I have snow, I have S3, I have API, and I have master also. Sitting inside it, let's make this bit simple. I'm renaming it with just Ziospark, okay? Just simple one. Now, I will upload this date jar to which directory? Tell me. To a?
IPL.
No, not IPL, just outside in the bucket. My boss asked to copy this jar. Now, please try to understand, folks. What does my boss instructed first? Tell me. Delete what? Delete this folder. Second, he asked you to create IPL folder. Third, what he asked? Can you put the code back up in Eclipse
and
generate the jar
in bucket.
and place it in the same bucket? Are you with me, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, folks, just to connect the dots, we are developing the entire data pipeline. We have 3 sources: Snowflake,
S3.
S3,
Yeah.
API.
Web.
We have to run 3 Spark jobs to extract the data. We have to run 1 master Spark job to read this intermediate data and write the final destination to S3. One sec, folks. One sec. Yep, sorry. Final destination to S3. So, we created our own EMR cluster and opened Spark Shell, developed the code. We took the backup of the code. Boss instructed 3 steps. What are the 3 steps you remember? Delete this folder. Then
Create
create IPL dir in the bucket. Third, generate jar with
backup.
4 jobs and copy to the bucket. Are you in the right shape now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, right.
Now he gave the actual problem statement. Remember this, folks. The last final cup of puzzle. What my boss asked. Look at this statement now. Right? Right now the question is, IPL dir is ready. which is currently empty. Do I have any directories in the IPL dir? All of
No.
you? Anything?
No.
Nothing.
No, sir.
No.
IPL dir is ready. Jar is ready. Is it like jar is also ready outside? All of you?
Yes.
Yes.
Jar is also ready. Now my boss put a message. Create a Lambda function in AWS. Create a Lambda function in AWS. Look at this requirement. Look at the boss requirement. Create a Lambda function in AWS. It has to act in such a way that by the time if you upload, right? By the time if you upload any file in the IPL dir, by the time if you upload any file in the IPL dir, any file. Anil Kulkarni, take care. Anil Kulkarni, take. Please. Yeah. It has to act in such a way that by the time if you upload any file, any dummy file in IPL dir, a cluster should start, run Spark 4 jobs from that jar. Hey, Suraj, please, Suraj. I'm muting you for the second time today. You earn the respect, Suraj. I don't want to be so rude on it. So please, okay? A cluster should start, run 4 jobs from the jar, and gets terminated. You understood the requirement, all of you, now?
Yes, sir.
Sai, how is it possible? Create a Lambda function in such a way, it has to act that by the time if you upload any file, see, we call it as a storage trigger. You know what? You have IPL dir, right? If I go inside this, if I upload any file you like, any file from local, see, any file, any image, D1, B, the 38 cache data, upload any file, Lambda will immediately start. Folks, have a check. Lambda will immediately start the cluster, run the Spark jar, all the jobs, and terminate the cluster. That's correct. You heard it right. This IPL dir, if you upload any file to this IPL dir, my Lambda function will be keep watching this IPL dir. Understood, all of you so far? Yes or no? Yes.
Sir.
My Lambda function will be keep watching this IPL dir. By the time, in other words, let me put it this way, right? What is a directory actually? What's directory I created? Tell me.
IPL.
Right? My Lambda function, right? My Lambda function will be keep watching. This is a Lambda logo. My Lambda function will be keep watching this IPL dir, right? By the time any file uploaded, imagine I'm uploading a file known as Zayo.trigger. It's a dummy file. It's dummy file. You don't have anything. If any file gets uploaded, immediately this Lambda will start an EMR cluster. What it will start, folks? Tell me. EMR cluster. This EMR cluster will run the snow job.
Spark jobs.
Snow jobs. Next, what job?
S3.
S3 job. Then what job?
API.
API job.
Then master
what job?
Master job.
Master job.
Master job.
That's it.
And once it runs all the job,
Terminate the cluster.
automatically the cluster gets
Terminated.
Terminate.
That's the magic. You got the point, all of you? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I repeat my point. That's what we call it as a storage trigger. We call it as storage trigger. There is an IPL dir I have created. I'll create a Lambda function now, which will be keep watching this IPL dir. By the time if I upload any file to this any file, that can be any name, dummy file, empty file. Any file gets loaded, immediately it will start the EMR cluster, run the Spark job, Snow job, S3 job, API job, master job, and gets terminated. You want to see that, all of you now? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Shall I iterate this one more time on the trigger part alone? Check here. Last time, folks. Look at my boss requirement. Boss has instructed, create a Lambda function in AWS in such a way, it has to act, right? That by the time if you upload any file, dummy file, empty file, whichever the name it is, that doesn't matter. Immediately what it has to trigger, Lambda has to trigger an EMR cluster, run 4 jobs, and run the 4 jobs from the jar and gets terminated. You want to see that? Shall I trigger that, all of you now? Right?
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Let me open the Lambda code. Yes. Now let's go to AWS Lambda. Final execution, folks. I'm going to AWS Lambda now. Check. This is the Lambda. Right? Check here. I have some Python code here. Did you see the Python code here? All of you?
Fine.
Yes? You see the Python code here, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This Python code has all the magic. All right. Now, let me edit something here and explain you. Everything is done. Ready. Ready, folks? Python function is ready. Let me explain you what is this code is. This is a Lambda function code, right? I'll not explain everything. See only the required one. Folks, which bucket I specified?
J-Auto.
Say auto.
J-Auto.
Which directory I asked you to, I asked you to keep
IPL
listening.
IPL.
IPL. Once any file gets uploaded, right? See the function code. In the Lambda, I kept this Python code. In Lambda, I kept this Python code. I asked, hey, under this bucket, under this IPL dir, keep watching. By any chance, any file gets uploaded, like any chance, any file gets uploaded, create a cluster known as Zayo cluster 1. Which cluster I have to create? Tell me.
Zayo cluster 1.
Right? Start the cluster immediately. See, cluster name is Zayo cluster. Look at this. Under the bucket of Zayo Auto, keep looking which directory. Which directory?
IPL dir.
IPL dir.
If any file gets uploaded, start immediately what? Cluster in the name? Zayo cluster 1. Once the cluster is ready, right? Start executing, right? Which job first? Start executing which job first?
Snow.
Snow job. Once a snow job is completed, which job you have to execute next?
API job.
S3.
Actually, API job here. Next, once it is done, which job you have to execute?
S3.
S3.
Once it is completed,
Master job.
finally you have to
Master
execute what?
Master job.
Did you see this Python code? Understandable now, which I have highlighted. Yeah?
Yes, fine.
This is Lambda code. AWS Lambda. What AWS Lambda is expecting? Hey, in this bucket, I have created a directory known as IPL dir. Keep listening this IPL dir. If any file gets uploaded, dummy file, empty file, any name file gets uploaded, immediately start what? A cluster.
So,
Once the cluster gets started, what you have to start execution? Snow job.
Mozart.
Execute snow job from the jar. Then execute
API
API
job.
job from the jar. Execute S3 job
S3 job from
from
the
the
jar.
jar. And execute master job.
Job from the jar.
Once all the jobs are completed, right? Can you see what is this?
Terminating the cluster.
Terminate the cluster.
That's it. It will terminate the cluster. You understood the point, all of you? Yes.
Fine.
The entire code is kept here. This is what we call it as a Lambda code. I kept here and I'm deploying it. That's it. Lambda is active now. Lambda is active. Now my Lambda started looking out what? IPL there. I repeat my point.
Elder.
My Lambda is now keep on watching what now? Tell me.
IPL director.
IPL.
IPL there. My Lambda started watching IPL there. Right? It's very closely watching now. It already started watching IPL there now. Now, have a check. It is waiting. Horribly, Lambda is waiting. Keep checking this IPL there. Do I have any file in this IPL there? All of you? It's currently empty.
Empty.
Now, if I upload any file, this Lambda immediately trigger a cluster in the name of what? Can you tell me?
Zayo cluster 1.
Zayo cluster 1.
Cluster 1.
Zayo cluster 1. First, it will execute Snow job. Second, it will execute
API job.
API job.
API job.
Third, it will execute
S3
S3 job.
S3 job.
Last, it will execute
Master
master.
job.
Master job.
Once everything is completed, the job gets
Terminated.
Terminate the cluster.
understood about this automation, all of you?
Yes.
Yes. Now watch. Now, my current cluster, this one is empty. EMR also, no clusters are active. Lambda is already very actively watching my S3 bucket. Now my cluster is, my folder is ready. It's time to upload. Upload, add file, any file. Folks, which file I'm going to upload now?
Geo
Tell me.
trigger.
Zayo trigger.
Do you want to see this file? It's completely empty. Did you see any data exist in this file?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
It's
Kind of dummy
empty.
file.
It's
Empty.
completely dummy file. Now open. Now see the magic. Now open, upload, shoot. That's it. File is uploaded. Did you see the file is uploaded? All of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now the entire magic should have already started at the back end.
Cluster.
Sai, what's there in this upload side? Do the upload is that powerful? Yes. That upload is that powerful. You uploaded this file. If you go back and check, an EMR cluster is in the starting state. Makes sense, all of you. Did you see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
What is the cluster name?
Geo cluster.
Geo
Geo cluster.
Cluster 1.
See the upload power. I just uploaded some file, some dummy empty file. So once I start that, a cluster got started. This cluster gets started shortly. Now this cluster will go to from starting state to the running state. Sai, are you sure this will run 4 steps? Anyone have that question in mind?
Yes.
Sai, are you sure it will run 4 steps? Yes. I can show you the steps also. You want to see the steps?
Middle one.
Did you see steps here? All of you?
Yeah.
How many jobs are here? I'm going inside
4 jobs.
4 jobs.
4 jobs. See the order. First, what gets executed here?
Must.
No
No job.
No.
4 jobs.
See the
API
Spark
job.
submit command. Is this your Spark submit command? Did you see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And API job, then S3 job, and finally master job.
Master job.
Once all these jobs gets executed, cluster gets terminated.
Terminated.
That how that automation is. What is automation? I just uploaded what to this file? A
File.
dummy file.
File.
It's very dummy file.
Running
Plus,
file.
But
Yeah.
what Lambda did, immediately what Lambda has done.
cluster.
I
Create the
uploaded, I
cluster
uploaded
Starting the cluster.
Create the cluster and execute.
Lambda is watching
Completing
it,
the Spark job.
right? Lambda is kept watching it. Now I uploaded a file known as Zayo.trigger. That has nothing, empty file. By the time I have uploaded this Zayo trigger, immediately
AMR cluster.
Creates
an
the
EMR cluster got created in the name of
Zayo
Zayo
cluster.
cluster.
Cluster 1
Manually give the name.
and
I gave it in
executed
this one.
4 jobs.
Now inside, if I go steps, I see 4 jobs in an order, in a descending order. See the descending
No
order.
job.
It would be descending order, right?
Yes.
First one is no job. It would be in the descending, folks. First, no job gets executed. Next API job gets executed.
S3
Then
job.
S3 jobs gets executed.
Master
Then
job.
finally, master job gets executed. Once the final job is completed, it will get terminated.
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 That folks can able to catch this point now. Better understanding now. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah.
who is doing all this magic at the back end?
Lambda
Automation.
function.
Lambda.
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 This guy, folks, if I go inside Lambda, you see it's Lam, right? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Lam. This guy is doing that magic. What this guy is doing? Inside it, I kept a code. One code. Inside, I kept a Python code. Right? Let's validate this Python code one more time. Right? In this Python code, I asked Lambda to consider which bucket?
J auto.
Zayo bucket. Which directory? IPLD.
IPLD.
Keep watching it. Once any file gets uploaded, trigger what?
J
Cluster
cluster
Cluster. What should execute inside that cluster?
job.
First, Snow job. Right? Look at the name, Snow job. Then API job.
S3 job.
Right? API job. Then S3 job.
Master job.
Then
master job.
master job from the job. Once everything is completed, do what?
Terminate the cluster.
Terminate the cluster. If this is false, it gets terminated. That's the termination today. Right? Now, my cluster is in starting state. It will slowly go to running state. During that running state, the jobs get started. The cluster jobs get started. And finally, I'll see the dest folders. Dest folder, because my Spark will process it. Finally, cluster gets terminated. Do that make sense, all of you? You understood this automation?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All batch folks, you learned
Yes,
something
sir.
today? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Lambda.
Yes, sir.
Lambda. Along with
100%
step,
right.
multiple step execution. Multiple step execution. I thought of doing one check, 1 minute. Yeah, I'm in a good shape. Now, let's wait for 2 more minutes. My cluster is in starting state now. It turns to running state. Batch 39, folks, don't panic. Tomorrow, I'm going to iterate the same execution again. You got the point, batch 39, folks?
Yes.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Yes, sir.
This required 2 iterations. Other batch folks can also join if you want. But see the iteration. This, folks, we are living in a world today. Everything should be automated in the cloud environment. Right? So now, this Lambda function, by the time I upload, cluster itself is creating. We call it as a storage trigger. We call that as a storage trigger. Remember, storage trigger in the sense, it will keep watching the storage.
S3 bucket.
By the time any file gets uploaded, it will start the cluster. It will not only start the cluster, it will also run the jobs. Now let's wait for it. It's still in the starting state. Let's wait. The cluster turns to running state now. Cluster turns to running state. By the time it starts executing all the jobs, you will see the dest folder created. One after other, the jobs gets executed. Check here. Let's wait 1 more minute. All batch folks can able to understand this. See, if any questions was asked about data pipeline, can you explain this better now? The entire data
Yes,
pipeline.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I'll give one. If you old batch folks want to join tomorrow's session, you can join. I mean, I'll give some project passage. Folks, is it a running state? Yes or no? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Let's go inside it. Steps starts running. Check now. Steps would start running. Check, check. It is in pending state, right? I think you should have already started the backend, but should have not been reflecting here. Check here. First one is completed. Did you see? First job is completed. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes.
let's go and check. What is the first job actually? Tell me. Site count.
Site count.
Completed. Let's wait. Second job. Second job is in the running state now. Let's wait. Snowflake job is completed. Now it's API job now. Oh, okay. API job, I gave 1,000 records, right? That's the reason it takes some more time. That's okay. Second job is completed. Did you see that, all of you? Go check. Total amount, customer is available. Total amount data is almost done. Let's see. Third job. S3 job is almost completed, it seems. Look at this. Cluster created. It is running the jobs. Cluster gets terminated. Or everything is completed, boss. Did you see everything is completed? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Go back. All the folders are available. All the folders are available. Now, if I go back and check, cluster would be in the
Terminating state.
Terminating.
Cluster itself created, right? Cluster itself run all the jobs. It has completed all the jobs here. And finally, cluster is getting terminated. How is this automation, folks? Helpful? Done.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Within
sir.
8 minutes, everything is complete.
Sai, connection get low.
Am I audible to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sai.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Everything is completed in this 8 minutes. Everything is completed in this 8 minutes. Do one thing, folks. Let's all these jobs are converted, right? So now what I'll do, I'll delete this desk folder. So to start the work, what I have to do? To start the work, what I have to do? I have to start the work again. What I have to do?
Created.
Trigger file.
Trigger file it
Do this IP enter.
File creation.
This IP enter.
Upload
Just
all the
upload
source
any file.
data.
Just upload any file. I'm uploading another file. Some file. That's it. I uploaded what? Another file. Magic should have started the backend already. Did you see that, all of you? Cluster started again. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
How is this automation? Makes sense now? All of you?
Sai, we
Yes,
have to give cluster name manually.
As I was just mentioned, but still I'll answer. We have to, we will give that in the function. I already told that. I'm not sure why I got this question. Cluster name, I gave it here. Okay. Anyway. So who is doing all this magic now, folks? In this entire
Lambda.
Lambda. Lambda is a culprit. You understood the reason, all of you, actually? Who is a culprit here? Lambda is a culprit. He's a silent hero. Can I consider him as a silent hero? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Sir, no. He's a very silent hero. Right? So he just drives everything at the back end. So this is a Lambda code. This is a Lambda code. By the time to this bucket, to this directory, any file gets uploaded. It start the cluster in this name. It run all the jobs. Snow job, right? Snow job, API job, S3 job, finally the master job, right? Finally the master job. And once everything is completed, cluster goes into terminating state, right? If you make it true, cluster stays back. If I make it false, cluster gets terminated. I'm just asking old batch folks, fine, right? This session we never seen like this Lambda automations and everything, correct? Multi-steps.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Multi-steps.
sir. Very good.
Multi-steps. We actually explored only one step long back. Only one step, EMR command run. But from the upcoming batch, we automated furthermore using Lambda triggers. Okay, right? Better, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Super.
Yeah. So, okay, what you can do. Old batch folks, how can I practice it? See, you cannot practice without an AWS account. This account you cannot use because Lambda triggers are already going on, right? That's the reason. What I would suggest, if you create your own, I'll bundle it everything now, right? I'll bundle everything. Bundle. Okay. 39 batch folks, don't worry. Tomorrow we'll revisit. Definitely we'll revisit it for a better second understanding, right? AWS automation. Lambda code. This is your Lambda code. This is your snow data. It's no code. This is your API data. API code. S3 data. S3 code. Right? So 39 folks, we have the iteration code session tomorrow. This definitely required one more iteration to strengthen your knowledge. We're starting AWS session immediately because placements are on place by this weekend, right? So that's the reason. So this is your S3 code. S3 code is ready. What else you want?
Source file.
Master.
Master.
Master job.
Oh, master job. Yes, master job. Folks, if you are creating a different automation, Lambda and everything, change the bucket names accordingly, please. Change the bucket names accordingly. Then source file. There is a source file. This video will be shared to all the groups, okay? We are going to upload it to public YouTube. We'll share all this video to all the batches, okay? You'll get it as a link. Don't worry. Yeah. Anything else I left?
No, sir.
Nothing.
Perfect. Let me zip it.
Notes point sign.
Oh,
Notes
that's
is-
important. Oh, yeah, that's also important. Story, huh? Boss story, huh? How is boss story? Hope it is not boring.
Perfect side.
The question is like,
That is not the story. That is the process.
As
That
usual.
helps a lot, sign.
the question is like, why I take the boss stories. Okay, I'm giving this as a boss story. Boss story will help you to explain in the interviews which requirement
Correct,
comes
sir.
where, actually.
It will create like scenario side.
Yeah, and also old batch folks, are you getting the Spark scenarios, that short YouTube videos?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If not, we'll share it. I want to share it one more thing because I cannot catch the old batch folks other than today. Just give me one. See all these videos. I have just consolidated it. Interview scenarios, okay? So, the code is sitting in the respective description itself. Okay, old batch folks, hope it's helpful. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks for joining today. Today's session, I'll give the recording in the YouTube link to all the groups shortly, maybe end of this today. Okay. Hope that will be helpful. And if you want to join, you can join the same, from tomorrow, you can join the AWS session, same link, followed by Azure, followed by GCP. To recap, you can join. No, you need not ask anyone. It doesn't require any approval. Don't worry. All right. All batch folks.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
Sai, by what time the session will?
always the same time. What time you join today? Same time.
Okay.
4 to
Thank
7.
you.
Okay. Fine.
Hi,
39
Sai.
batch. One sec. First, I have to address folks. Older batch folks can join. Anything else, you can reach out to me in WhatsApp. Please. I have to address 39 batch folks. 39 batch folks. It's very important. Please. One sec. So, 39 batch folks. I'll give you one scenario to execute today. Possible?
Yes, I possible.
Right?
Sai.
That scenario I kept somewhere else. Okay, that's fine. I'll create one scenario. But however, what is a task for today is, today you attended this AWS automation, right?
Yes,
I need you to type it in a notepad or in a notebook. I want you to write the process. Is it possible? You remember?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and that is story side.
No, that story is
Hello.
okay. What is my point is, what is your understanding? Where we started and where we ended. I need you to write it in your own notes. See, doesn't require a proper English. I need a proper understanding. Got it, all of you? Yeah.
Okay, sir. Sure.
So please consider, I need you to write the entire story, where we started, where we ended. See,
Okay, sir.
you can refer the past story, but there's no point for you. Like, see, you can refer this entire story started and where it got ended. But I want you to remember and write it as much as you remember.
Okay,
Folks,
sir.
that story is going to be your project passage in the interviews. Remember, that story is going to be your project passage in the interviews. I need you to write it in a pen and a paper or in the notepad or in the Microsoft Word, whatever it is, and post it.
Sure,
Helpful?
sir.
40,
Will
39 batch. Let's meet tomorrow. Do not skip from tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about how to take things forward. Those who completed your resume reviews, how to take things forward. Who are not yet reviewed, there is also update. We'll start the review by Monday. There is a very important, it's a kind of execution. Last week we prepared the resumes, how to execute it, that we'll discuss. Any old batch folks want to reach out to me, reach out in WhatsApp. But you can put the message, but today work is Saturday, Sunday is going on. I'll reply back on Monday. Thanks a lot, old batch folks, for joining. Hope you gained today, right? I'll ask Gomati to send that particular zip file to all the batches. Today's video will be uploaded to the public forum and will be sent out.
And also shared like the scenario link sign.
Scenario link. I shared in the Zoom chat. Did you receive it?
Uh,
I already shared
it is
everything in the Zoom chat.
Today's
yeah, but
Today's
it is
list.
shared in batch group. That will be fine.
Okay, let me share it. Okay, let me share it. That anyway, Gomati will share everything. Okay, it's already shared in all the groups, but that's okay. So both AWS automation as well as this will be shared. And my kind request to all of you, please don't skip tomorrow for part 39 batch. Other batches, folks, are open to attend tomorrow's session. Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay, sir.
Old batch folks can leave. Those who have doubts,
Yeah.
39 batch folks can stay back. 39 batch folks can stay back. Others batch folks, please leave. Please, we'll discuss it later. 39 batch folks, I need some rest and water. I'll come back, please. Yeah. Yeah, folks, actually, I could not able to talk a lot because I have shouted enough. My mouth is pain. Just get into doubt sessions. Go ahead, Simon.
Hi, Sai. This is regarding the resume review. I have dropped my resume on last Sunday, like on both the groups, but I don't have access to drop in job one. Like, is there any other group that I need to join?
No problem. I'll inform Gomanti. All right.
Oh, okay, sir. And also one more thing, like, so here, is it possible to provide the references or any contacts? Like,
US or
I'm
Canada?
currently in Canada.
Canada
So,
doesn't work on references actually, Manoj. It works only on Indeed.
oh,
US works on
Indeed. Okay.
consultancies. US works on
Okay.
consultancies. Canada works on Indeed and LinkedIn.
Oh,
Right.
okay, sir.
I
Like,
can
is
provide,
there
but
any
still
possible?
there are no something as consultancies in Canada. Yes.
Okay. Like, if it's possible, like, can you share the like Zybronians, ex-Zybronians that are available
Yeah,
here
let
so
me
that?
check. There are many Canadian folks. Let me find and let you know. Yeah.
Oh, sure. That will be helpful, sir. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Indra.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Saini. I'm having doubt in like when you are generating the code, this jar from this Eclipse, right? There, we are mentioning still the destination folder details only, right? In the path.
We're hard coding it. Actually, we have to parameterize. I don't want to.
Okay.
Today, code is not the major part. Today, I just need some jobs, 4 jobs. Right? That's the reason. But usually in real time, we parameterize this. We maintain the config file. We're going to see it. Yeah.
Okay. So, the destination folder, even though we deleted, it won't affect because it's creating in the IPL directory, right? The
Not
automation.
IPL directly, dest.
Oh, okay. Still in this new folder.
Everything is created in desktop. Yeah.
Okay. And one more doubt regarding this resume only. I just want to discuss few points.
We can discuss now.
Yeah. Okay. Regarding my experience that
I remembered everything in the go with the question.
Okay. Can I delete the can I keep only big data and the first experience I have in the Infosys alone because
That's very long back, right? Actually,
yeah.
that you can delete it. That doesn't matter actually.
Okay, even this ETL testing also, can I delete it?
Why to delete it in the See, it's better to maintain good experience, right? To increase the calls. Why to delete it? Right?
Okay.
Because we are going to create ETL and see, I remember you have some experience very long back from 12 or 13. Later on, you took a gap in the last 5 years we filled it.
Yes.
Just have last 5 years. That's enough. Got it?
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chinna?
Yeah, hi, sir. So my doubt is why you using for the storage tier? Because my previous project I'm using Azure function. I'm used the any process automate the process using a time trigger. Why specifically in Lambda function we use for storage trigger?
See, we have multiple ways to automate it, Chinna. We have a command runner
Okay.
execution. We have Lambda. We have step function. But we see the
Okay.
we see the cost. Lambda is quite comparatively less cost to trigger.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
Cost
Okay,
matters,
got it.
right?
And yeah, okay, got it. And another doubt is we in going the automation process, you open for the Cloudera as well as Eclipse, and by the time we cannot be all the code only purpose of using a EMR uh, itself using for the opening a Cloudera, or else we
Cloudera.
can
No,
use
not
the
Cloudera.
EMR.
No. Cloudera is completely different. Here it's an EMR cluster, Hadoop cluster. That's it. Yeah.
So we can access the EMR cluster itself in Eclipse, if possible.
EMR cluster in Eclipse. EMR is a cluster. Eclipse is software in my local. You remember that deployment session? I told we'll open Spark
Yes.
in the dev environment, take the code, and put it in the Eclipse in the local system. Same process, right?
Okay.
You remember deployment?
So,
What did I
sorry.
explain in the deployment?
Yes, I got it.
You really got it?
I get back to revisit the video.
Revisit the
be
deployment
confused.
video. That's it. Revisit the development
Okay.
deployment video. The dev cluster, which we develop the code, everything in the Spark shell, then we put that in the
Okay.
Eclipse for the code, for the jar. You remember that?
Yes, for creating a jar purpose, we use for Eclipse.
Where we develop the code.
In Eclipse itself.
No. Revisit the deployment video, Chana, please.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Venkatesh?
Sai, I just want to understand the business reason for uploading the empty file. How in real
No,
time?
it's not a business requirement. It's a storage trigger. That's it.
Okay.
See, we have so many triggers. To start a Lambda function, you have so many triggers. All right. If you see,
Okay.
did you see a Lambda here?
Yes.
You can add a trigger now. That trigger can be anything. That could be a API, that could be code commit, that could be anything. But I added a storage trigger. That's it. Any trigger happens from storage, start this Lambda. That's it.
But that will be still empty file.
Still empty. That doesn't matter. It's an event. It not
Okay.
considered as an empty file or non-event file. It's an event. The event changed in that S3 folder. That's it. Start the work.
Okay. Okay. And one more understanding, side, as this process you are claiming as it is a cost saving to the customers that by deploying
Trigger is
customers.
cost. Trigger is cost saving, not the EMR one. Triggering the part is cost. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Rishabh?
Hi, sir. So, sir,
Sorry, Rishabh, I cannot hear you.
hello.
Yeah, Rishabh.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is regarding the resume. When we had a conversation on the website.
Very challenged to hear, Rishabh. I'm enabling the chat. Can you put it your query in the chat? Very hard to hear you, actually.
Okay. I'll ping you on WhatsApp.
No, ping me in the Zoom chat. I'm available. I
Okay.
checked. Thank you. Guruswamy?
సార్ ఈ ఎంటీ ఫైల్ బకెట్లో పెడుతున్నాం కదా సార్. ఆ ఎంటీ ఫైల్ పెట్టినప్పుడు ఈ స్పార్క్ జాబ్స్ రన్ అయ్యి ఫైల్స్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నాయి.
ఫస్ట్
అంతేనా సార్?
స్టార్ట్ అయ్యి స్పార్క్ జాబ్స్ రన్ అవుతాయి. కరెక్ట్.
అది ఎంటీ ఫైల్ మనం అంటే మ్యాండేటరీగా పెట్టాలి. అంటే ఈవెంట్ జరగటానికి.
అది ఎట్లా జరుగుతుందంటే
అంటే
there is a concept. Even it's still uploading a file is a manual, basically. Correct. Upload చేస్తే మనమే అప్లోడ్ చేస్తాం. బట్ there is a concept of trigger. We have a concept of cloud events. ఇక మనం ఏం చేయాలంటే ఇక్కడ క్లౌడ్ ఈవెంట్స్ కి అక్కడ ఒక స్కెడ్యూలర్ క్రియేట్ చేసి ఆ స్కెడ్యూలర్ ని ఐ హావ్ టు గివ్ ఇట్ టు లాంబ్డా. దట్స్ ఇట్. ఆ పర్టికులర్ స్కెడ్యూలర్ లాంబ్డా ట్రిగర్ అయిపోతాం.
అంటే బకెట్లో ఎప్పుడు ఫైల్ జనరేట్ ఏమైనా ఈవెంట్
ఒక కాపీ జస్ట్ ఒక డమ్మీ ఫైల్ పెడతాం తీసుకెళ్ళి.
ఓకే. ఇది ముందు మీరు మాన్యువల్‌గా చేసినప్పుడు డెస్ట్ ఫోల్డర్‌లోకి 4 జాబ్స్ 4 ఫైల్స్ క్రియేట్ చేశారు కదా సార్. అప్పుడు
ఆటోమేషన్ లో కూడా టెస్ట్ ఫోల్డర్ ఫస్ట్ గా క్రియేట్ అయింది.
అవును సార్. అంటే ఐపీఎల్ డెర్లోకి మనం ఈ జాబ్స్ పెట్టి ఫైనల్‌గా ఒకటి క్రియేట్ చేసాం.
IPL there is just a trigger location. That's it.
ఓకే సార్.
All the data got created in the test folder. Yeah.
ఓకే. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Thank you. Sudipta?
Yeah, hi, Sai. Yeah, I wanted to know that when we created a file in the Eclipse jar, so and then this file is how it is connected to that Lambda trigger when we are deploying it.
Test folder.
Yeah, this folder or all
Which
these
folder?
files like API master S3 whatever we have created the jar in Eclipse.
First source.
Yes.
3 Spark jobs will run and write the data to S3. Correct?
Yes.
All this data will be consumed by this Spark and write the data to the final S3. You are clear?
Yes.
So all this job is triggered by, even including the cluster is triggered by Lambda. When it triggered using the Zayo trigger. By the time you upload it, Zayo trigger gets started. And this Zayo trigger cluster gets started and execute all the 3 jobs, one after other, and one after other. Inside the Spark job, I already hard-coded the values. Inside the Spark code, what is the target destination folder I have created? Tell me. This one.
That okay, destination folder.
You understood? Inside it. In the code level itself, I read the data and I have written it. In the code level itself, I have read the data and written it. In the code level itself, I read the data and written it. Make sense?
Yes. So like how it is connected with that, this is the thing, like I want to know, like all this code, how it will connect to that Lambda when we are triggering this. Interconnect.
Okay. Do all the jars are created? Do the jar has 4
Yes.
objects? Correct.
Yes. Yes.
I've created a lambda. Anyway, I'm not sure where you missed it, but that's okay. I created a lambda in such a way to keep listening the IPL folder, Sudipta.
Yes, I listen actually, or like whatever you explained.
I created a Python function.
Yes.
In this Python, okay. Folks, I may have to leave in 5 to 10 minutes. Folks, my voice is not coming. I see hands are raising now. I'll as of now wrapping up with Shravani as the last question. So please consider, folks. No,
Otherwise,
not
we
Sudita.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Others, please consider. Shravani, who is the last hand, would be the last question. I cannot able to talk also today. So I'm the only person talking the whole 3 hours. So Sudita, what I mean to say is like I have the bucket. I
Yes.
have the IPL folder.
Yes. Yes.
By the
Yeah.
time the folder gets uploaded, it start executing what? The class now. Can you see the snow class gets executed?
Yes.
From this jar.
Yes.
Inside the jar, I have 4 objects.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I got it now. Yeah.
You're
Okay.
clear now?
Here. Yes. Yes. Jars. That
Jar.
paths are there. Yes. Yes.
Okay, clear, Sudipta?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
And that empty file, when we are uploading this empty file, so what is the use of this empty file, like after
It's a
uploading
storage
this?
trigger. Anyway, repetitive question. Sudipta, it's a storage trigger. What is storage trigger? That empty file is just an event. If an event is changing to that folder, the work gets started. Uploading a file is a change of event, right? Something got changed in that folder. Immediately the work gets started. We
So
call
this
it
is, there is no use of this like file with the with that name,
nothing.
whatever
Doesn't
we are.
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Any file is fine. Any
Okay.
name is fine.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Bharat.
My question is a follow-up question to what Venkatesh has asked. Like, we have this trigger files, right, side? So can we schedule it like what we do with Spark jobs?
I told you right, Bharat.
Can we? I mean,
There
my
is
question
a
is like, do we have to hard code in Lambda function, or do we have
not required.
to?
No, there is. I'll tell you. There is a concept of events. Okay. Same. I'm not sure why the same question is coming up, but that's okay. We have something known as cloud events. Okay. We have something known as cloud event scheduler. I'll show you, but not right now. I'll show you later.
Sure.
This cloud events, we'll create a schedule here to which time the job has to run. Did you see that? The time
Yes.
recurring schedule. So we'll create a cron expression and attach this to the Lambda function. It automatically triggers the Lambda function.
So
by
it
creating
is a one-time event, or do we have to do it on a regular basis?
recurring. You can go with a recurring also.
Oh,
Recurring, yeah.
thank
you. Kruti. 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 Last time, Kruti. Go ahead, Kruti. Go ahead, Kruti. We cannot call multiple times. Go ahead, Kruti.
Okay. Will you review my resume because I didn't know that someone has
The slot is scheduled or not?
Sorry?
The slot is scheduled or not?
Actually, my son admitted in the hospital, so I couldn't do that.
No, that's not the question, Kruti. Do any of the slot you got in this whole week or no?
No, I didn't see that in the schedule.
Then you'll get it. Then you'll get it. We still have 200 resumes pending. Got it, Kruti? You'll, as I
And
told
one
you,
more thing, do you have any someone like reference of companies?
Kruti, I'll tell you, Kruti. First, let them get the resumes reviewed. Tomorrow, I'll tell you what to do with the further steps. Okay. So first, we'll get it reviewed by Monday. Tomorrow, I'll tell you what to do.
Okay, thank you.
Akash.
Sai, during resume review, you asked me to remove a couple of GCP points. Only AWS you asked me to put it.
Mm-hmm.
But accidentally, couple of GCP points were left out in the resume. I manually removed it. It's okay, right? I want to leave it as it is.
That's fine. That's fine. Removed.
Removed it. I didn't, after review, I removed it. So just to keep you updated.
That's fine. No worries. Yeah.
Okay, only AWS I kept it. GCP point I took it out.
Yes, only AWS. Yeah.
It was accidentally left out after your review.
I understood. Yeah.
Thanks.
That's fine. That's fine. You can remove it. Yeah.
And this empty file which we use to trigger, right? That can be any sort of file, a text file, Excel file, something like that, right?
Any file is fine.
With empty content, no need to be any content
Any
inside.
file, any extension is fine. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Thank you. Shravani?
Hi, Sai. So my question is, if the Spark jobs, they one of the job fails or something, will it execute the remaining, or will it stop and
We'll stop. It's up to us. It's up to us. In the Lambda code, I told to continue. See, action on failure. What? Continue to the next job. I can instead of continue, I can give cancel. That means it will get cancelled. Okay.
Okay, sir. So it will
Go
so and one more thing, Sai, do we can customize the jobs the code by error handling or something, so that it
Because
won't
we have
stop?
the exception handling, right? Try catch. You can.
Okay, just the try catch will do.
Scalar try catch. Yeah.
Okay, sir. And one more thing, Sai. So in the regarding the resume, so you asked me to sorry. My last company, I have
Tell me, Shravani,
put some scoop points
Shravani,
in
that's
that,
okay.
Sai.
Stay to the point. So what happened? Stay to the point. You
So
put some scoop points. What's the question?
So I just removed all the scoop points and I kept totally the Spark experience only. So is that okay?
That's fine. That's fine. No problem. Yeah.
Yeah. And one more thing, Sai. So
Say
can
1 6 Shravani, how many things do you have? Can I know how many you have at once? So that I can prepare myself. So you said one thing, okay, let's go to Pushkar. That's what I'm thinking. So how many you have at questions? You can display and prepare my. How many questions do you have?
Okay, last question, Sai. Sorry.
No, that's okay. You can ask any question, but set up my mind. Okay, I have 5 questions. And I set up my mind. So you said the last thing again you're asking. So totally 5 questions. Can you consider less than 5 questions you have?
Okay.
How many questions do you
Yeah.
have? Simple
Yes,
question.
just one more question.
Tell me. Yeah.
So the project when I'm explaining, can I put my current project, whatever I'm doing, the explanation, like the domain, and like suppose the one which I'm working right now is a email, sorry, not email. It's it has so many of integrations and stuff involved, so I can put the
If you have
words, the
confidence enough,
same
you can
words.
do it. You have confidence
Okay,
enough,
sir.
you can do it. Yeah. Thank you. Pushkar, go
Okay,
ahead.
sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hi, Sai. I tried to work on adding some jar yesterday, and I think I messed up pretty bad. And I tried to delete the IntelliJ and again download and try to do it from the beginning. It's not working out. Can you please help me in that?
Got a chance to connect in the doubt session?
Tomorrow, like I can.
No, I'm asking, did you connect in the doubt session yesterday?
No, not yesterday.
Okay, share your screen. Share your screen.
Okay, just give me a second. Share screen. This one.
We can give a try, Pushkar, or just connect in the doubt session. Okay, I can give it a try, but today is not the day for it. Come to the doubt session. Okay.
When is the doubt session?
It's daily 8:30, 8:30 IST.
That will be pretty. AM or PM? PM will be
PM.
like, I'm in Australia, so it will be pretty hard.
Okay, open the IntelliJ. Open the IntelliJ. Pushkar, today is not the day, but still open the IntelliJ. Open the IntelliJ.
Yeah.
No, I can't see it, Pushkar. It's not open yet.
Okay, I think I'm on the other side. Are you able to see?
Yeah, what's the issue you're facing?
I'm not able to, like, when I go, I have sent you a screenshot like yesterday regards to that one, but now it's a different thing. Like when I
Did you follow the steps which I have provided for IntelliJ setup?
I try to follow everything, but when I go to like add Scala and everything, that when I download this one, directly this came through, so I couldn't do anything.
Do
I
one
didn't know
thing.
what to
Can
do.
you create a new project now? Using the same video, can you create a new project?
Yeah, I'll try to do. I tried
Create
that one in the data. Yeah.
create the same new project with using that video again. If you still face it, let's sit tomorrow for a long time. All right. Today I cannot because I
Yeah.
don't have already exhausted. Let's sit tomorrow for a long
Yeah.
time. Follow the video one more time. Tomorrow we'll resolve it. Don't worry. Okay.
Yeah. Sure. And one more thing, like the resume, like when will like everyone get a slots for the resume?
When you
My
posted the resume? When you posted the resume?
I think on Monday, the due date, before due date, I have posted it.
Okay, you'll get it. People are still so many resumes are still pending. You'll get it mostly by Monday. You'll get it. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Thank
Sure.
you, Sai. And take rest of your
Yeah,
throat otherwise.
I have to. Yeah, I have to. Yeah, thank you.
And thank you, Sai. Thank you.
Thank you.